want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with a cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, bring to their knees. Take for their disease. Just like a weed, spread into the streets. Time to make them bleed. 'Cause we just want retribution. Let's go light up the darkness. Make true of an empty promise. Flip gods into weak and harmless. Take to the streets and turn them to a mosh pit. 'Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. You can see the writing on the pavement. Young kids, they're growing up in basements. Online, a whole new generation. I'ma make mine, so you better go take it. Always they need a new replacement. Decentralized, can't contain it. We're changing lives, yeah, upgrading. Call it suicide of the older generation.
What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it.
What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're with my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I'm just fucking lit, man, I'm just fucking lit. Drank a bottle of this shit, man, bottle of this shit. I'm about to write a hit, man, about to write a hit. No, I'm never gonna quit, man, never gonna quit. I just took another hit, man, took another hit. I'm about to lose my shit, man, about to lose my shit. Does she have a fucking wristband? Yeah, she needs that shit. Better get her out real quick, man, get her out real quick.
Are you the present or the future? Are you a drinker or a bruiser? Are you a giver or a user? Are you a winner or a loser?
And I said that I would never back down. And I said that I would never back down. And I said that I would never back down. I swore that I would never fucking back down. Cause I'm feeling like the shit, man, feeling like the shit. Yeah, her body's like a gift, man, body's like a gift. Cause she's looking hella fit, man, looking hella fit. And I can't always commit, man, can't always commit. Pull the trigger on this shit, man, trigger on this shit. Cause I feel I haven't lived, man, feel I haven't lived. Till I got nothing to miss, man, got nothing to miss.
Are you the present or the future? Are you a drinker or a bruiser? Are you a giver or a user? Are
All right, everybody, welcome back to Out of This World Live. Welcome to all the new sponsors, new members of the OTW News crew. Welcome to Unknown has now become a member. Lee64, shout out to you. We got Noble Savage is now a member of the OTW News crew. And we also got in the chat right now, Jordison, channel member. Welcome to the show. Who else is in the house? All right, let me get rid of this banner. All right, yeah. What's up, y'all? We're trying out the new StreamYard layout, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time. Shout out to everybody who's watching right now. We got Snafu, the Snafu crew strike teams in the house. Ixtos, the Leopolis, channel moderator. We also have Repent Now, Stay Near the Lord. Danny Skylark is in the house. And Dreamcatcher. Welcome to the show, guys. All right. So, the link to the open panel will be periodically dropped into chat by Nightbot. And meanwhile, I have something set up. I want to go kind of like review Paul's broadcast from yesterday, where he reached like phenomenal amount of live viewers, which was insane. I was like really happy for him. So let's go and review that while we wait for panelists to show up. If anybody wants to, come on up and comment on the broadcast, they're welcome to. All right, let me see. This is new. This is all new. Oh, I'm a little teeny weeny me there. Wow. Okay, let's try this. Is that going to be better? Interesting. How is that going to work? It's going to be that teeny? Teeny weeny? No way. All right.
Birdie in the room with us, and it's kind of licking its chops, getting ready to consume us. But deep beyond that, instinctual is the intuitive, right? The faith-based that says, oh, we're going to be okay, at least some of us. And by okay, I also mean that some folks may die in the physical vessel, right? You can't actually kill life.
It's got to be
life on life's terms. The life force is eternal, as we seem to apprehend or understand. But the body can die, right? The body can be shut off or perish. So we'll even be okay, many of us who inherit the earth or perish as a bodily vessel, because the energy and the understanding and the truth and the information will carry forward. So come on up. Let's go to Telegram. Why the hell not? It's been growing. We're getting a lot of action over there.
Because ever since I started
really giving us some
Pogos
traction. They're starting to, I can see play with it. Because the first day I did the format, we were up around 3,000 views. Now last night we're at about 1.7, right? The next day after it, it was about 2.5. So they're slowly, the algorithm does its thing. It does its snaky thing where you switch up the format, you get access to what they've been keeping you from for a couple of years. So you start to see the growth and traction again, and then you start to see that they get to it. So make sure you folks who enjoy this broadcast, who feel at home here, as scary as that might seem or sound, share it out, right? Word of mouth always kind of overwrites the algo slavery. That's what we learn in this life. You can't keep a good man down. And when you're a good man on some level and you're pursuing extraordinary knowledge, right? Ordinary man pursuing extraordinary knowledge, word gets around about the inspiration, because oftentimes in this life, what I've learned for me is, and what my position has become here, is giving myself and others permission to do and be. Right? Who knows? It's not maybe about really teaching.
Taking over CNN is what's next. You can embody
certain things, experience certain things, show certain things, and then through showing it, give others permission to do and be. Right? Monkey see, monkey do. 100th monkey effect, if you will.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Monkey here.
Share it out. Put it on your social medias. Get grandma involved, right? Get your unk and grandma involved. See, what I'm a fan of on this broadcast, what we do here sometimes for you new folks, is if you go to like holiday dinner, right, or you got a family get together and you're just fucking sick and tired of these slaves, whether they're like genetically related to you or not, like they keep voting, they keep saying you're crazy. See, we're that group here. We're the group of, I guess, black sheeps, African-American sheeps. You get what I'm saying? So every family, right, every group, every community has its black sheeps, its outcasts, the ones who are gaslit, the ones who are told they're crazy, the ones who are told they really don't have much choice and much power, and that they should just shut up, put their head down, and go along to get along. Right? And of course, something in our intuition tells us that's not right. That's not the position we occupy in this life. So that's what we do here. This is a place for us to meet and do fellowship and remind ourselves and each other that we are inspiring. We do have choice. We do have a power and a voice here. And more importantly, as the mind goes, the man follows, right? Faith without works is dead. So you got to get your ass in the game. That's a little bit more of a challenging, but the most important aspect of what we do here. So if you got a family get together coming up, right? If you got a family reunion, if you're just sick and tired of being that black sheep, gaslit person, right, at dinner, you just drop this fucking phone right on the table. And then you just go in the chat, right? I'm like one of those Cameo paid services, but I tell it, I don't sell it, right? I do everything that I do here because it's a passion of mine, because I love it and I care, and whatever value comes from that, great. If not, I'd continue to do it. So that's my gift to you for coming here. At your next get together, please just drop that phone right on the table with the Bluetooth. You can even hide it somewhere and go, I don't know what just happened. Bluetooth just switched on. Who is this guy? And then you can kind of laugh and giggle to yourself while I just go off. And make sure you put in chat, hey, grandma's a republicard slave who thinks that Donnie Trump's going to get us out of the slavery we got ourselves into. Or, hey, mom's a fucking Joe-tard, right? Thinks that Joe and Kamala are going to get us out of the slavery we got ourselves into. Turns out grandma and pop and unk, we did this. We're doing this. We're creating this. We're allowing this. We keep voting for folks to do this to us while it's done for us, right? How many times can you get beaten and raped and fucked and duped and deluded before you finally pop out of your Stockholm syndrome and say, you know what, maybe we just do and be and live something different here? I'm wondering. Yeah. Right. I don't think, grandma and unk are wondering, but I'm wondering like how long this is going to go on for before we pop out of the box and do what some other folks are doing on the ground that seems to have results.
Same fucking thing.
Turns out you don't exercise your rights, you lose them. Right. Turns out if you keep identifying as part of the corporation, you get governed by policy and code. Turns out if you don't know your natural rights and you don't know the damn contract they call the Constitution, then you really have no way of managing your affairs. Nope. On this land that we call America, especially, right? Because the rest of the world, funny enough, doesn't have constitutional contract anymore, doesn't have natural rights anymore. I mean, they do, they're available, but most folks aren't aware, and they're not going to become aware. They're just going to go along to get along and follow global policy and organizations to their own detriment, right? So, we've had a lot of folks on this panel before from across the pond, right, all over the world. Folks who say, you damn Americans shouldn't have guns. You should be just like us, wherever we are over here, completely disarmed, completely under the thumb of a fascist corporatist regime. What does that mean by definition? It's a merger of state and corporate powers. If you are a country, this is going to include all of you, by the way, wherever you're listening from. If you're a country or a land that's owned by or controlled by a corporation or corporate structure, and you're governed by policy or code, yep, you're a fascist, whether you know it or not, right? You don't have to know the truth for it to be the truth. That's what's so great about the truth. Yeah. So it's a worldwide issue. The whole world is in the hands of the dark one. They don't know it. What does corporation mean? As we've gone over it many times here, dead speaker, corporation, dead speech, dead speaker. Is it possible that this is a spiritual realm, a light-based holographic simulation of light and dark and duality? Is it possible that we're calling in everything that's meant for us because we won't understand these words and terms and spell correctly? Is this a magical realm of spelling, sorcery, mockery, humiliation, calling in and manifesting who and what we are and what we serve? Because I'm doing the we, even though I don't live that way the majority of my life. I'm sure some of it's rubbed off. It's almost impossible to get it gone completely, I would think. But we, the inclusive statement, right, have become extremely shallow and materialistic and based on, hey, have you seen the latest social medias? every woman under 25 has an OnlyFans because they've been taught that a man's only value is the money that they can give them for their body. Character no longer seems to matter as much on the whole. So this is evidence as we go along. This ain't just preaching and ranting and raving, right? The facts are there. The facts are clear. The results are there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a whole generation of women, at least, that I'm seeing on the social medias who've all bought into the fact that their only value is their body they provide to the inauthentic corporate males who pay to get that body. Did it ever occur to everyone that we were supposed to mate on some level, find mothers and fathers of our children who were based in true values and principles and character, not just what we could do or provide for each other in false value systems, pleasure-based economy? Man, we're far down the line here, huh? And they all know it, right? What's the term they use on Reddit? They have all this internet lingo, the giga chads, whatever they call them, right? Everyone knows it. You see the folks in chat. Every one of us has our nature and our bodily, lustful, desirous beingness. Then the other side of us seemingly is coming back to our awareness, right? We're being reminded, hey, this doesn't look right. Something's not right about this. Even if we want this, if we get this, is this what we need? So, great time to be alive. Consciousness is rising, arguably. Awareness is coming forth.
Yeah,
that oftentimes the things that we like the most in the world, that we get the most pleasure from, are not the best for us, right? We have to seek moderation in all things, and we have to use conscience as a guiding force, as a rudder to direct our time, energy, attention, and resources. If not, we'll get caught up. We'll get tricked out of our power and position.
Chat at Paul's was absolutely nuts yesterday, as mods could barely keep up. Well, there's like not a ton of mods over at Paul's channel, so I can understand why they could barely keep up, man, with all the viewers, live viewers that they were having yesterday. It was insane. I was watching a bit of it. I didn't get it all, but wow, what I caught of it was like, wow, insane numbers. I was like really impressed. Congratulations to Paul. You really deserve it, man. Really happy for you, bro. Great stuff. We got Mr. Snafu Snaps backstage. Hey, what's up, Mr. Snaps?
Who's blocking? Curious, was it Christos? Because I was actually being non-conflict, just talking to people in your chat. Someone got triggered and blocked. Who was it?
Your mic is chopping up. You didn't come in very clearly, so we didn't really hear what you just said. Something about Christos?
Someone blocked me just now for no reason, but it's okay. They're triggered.
Well, you know what? That doesn't really surprise me, honestly, Snafu.
No, so you can make me blue so they can't pull that shit. I'll trigger them.
All right.
Anyways,
so let's just get back.
Yeah.
Position, right? We'll wind up.
If you want to say something, just tell me to interrupt the video and I'll stop it.
That seems to be true about him. We'll get caught up with women who are jabbed out, who tell us we got to go make more money and join the corporatized system to take care of them and keep them. Those are the same Jezebel harlot creatures who are never going to encourage you to be the man that you're meant to be. They're going to encourage you to be the man they want you to be so they can get benefits and privileges in this world. They're not interested in empowerment, inspiration, and co-creation. They're not interested in godliness, holiness, and righteousness on any level. No, I'm not talking overly pious religious lingo. I'm talking about objective logic, morals, and ethics. Something that used to be taught on every land, logic, morals, and ethics and civics. Seems like that's a big part of what we're lacking and missing. All right, so I am, of course, at least voted 2023 world's best online daddy. Yes, there was only 1,000 participants, but hey, just like the U.S. elections, we pretty much fudge the numbers, right? He who counts the numbers decides what the outcome is, and it doesn't matter how many participants we have. If we have 1,000 and they all vote, or we fudge the numbers, we can claim that. World's best daddy, 2023, that's me. Because I'm attempting, much like the fool that I am, instead of to do like most content creators and come online and fool the slaves and grift off them and sell them bullshit products and hopes and dreams and sit in copium and hopium and falsely empowered codependence, I'm attempting to do what their daddies have not done apparently at home, to exemplify and to become a real man on some level, true enough, a leader in myself and therefore a leader outside myself, and to bestow upon this generation and remind myself that there are certain static principles and value systems here, mainly objective logic, morals, and ethics, to co-create effectively and to not wind up as the property of some corporation following policy and code against God's law or the indwelling law of conscience. If you folks want to be worldly with me, I don't mind. You don't want the religious lingo, I don't mind. I'm not a religionist myself, right? You can say I'm spiritual, but that's a whole other connotation. So yeah, when I talk about faith and honor and trustworthiness, equity, and co-creation, right? If I didn't say faith, it's not the religious lingo and the religious cult that you're used to. This is based on objective logic, morals, and ethics. Locally, what we call conscience. You don't even have to inject the word God into the experience. Because for me, when I talk God, it's an explanation of an experience. It's not some pie in the sky old man, right, with a beard, anthropomorphized cult-like figure that we all worship and do and be nothing here. No, this is about self-knowledge, self-growth, learning, leveling up, co-creating, manifesting, as they say, right? Absent of the new age terminology or definition of that terminology, rather, right? A lot of folks want to sit around, do and be and create nothing and then say the universe is going to drop it in their lap. No, it doesn't work that way. Faith without works is dead. So it would seem to me that we would benefit from, I know I've benefited from in my life, being a faithful, trustworthy, honorable, equitable, intuitive being as much as possible. I'm sure nobody has it down perfect, but that's what we strive for. And through living faithfully in equity and trust and courage, right, going past our fear, what I would call courteousness. It's not what you think it is. A lot of folks think it means nice, kind, and polite. No, those are synonyms for obsolete, as Gorilla Gems and Talcott Clip Collection have shown us in the intro. Nice, kind, polite, politically correct are synonyms for obsolete, disempowered. So again, meek shall inherit the earth. Meek is not weak. Meek is not nice, kind, and polite. Meek is caring in truth, disciplined and unwavering, head down, moving forward humbly before the creational force, and not putting any faith in earthly man and woman for whom there is no salvation. And if you can't save yourself and you won't help yourself, then God won't help you. You won't be embraced by that force. And you'll be sitting there staring at me with the fluoride stare saying, what's God, Paulie boy? What does that mean to me? You're talking about some cult where the Pope shows up to kiss babies and Pimp and Mac and Glad Hand? No. That's not what this is. That's the corruption. That's the deception. This is an indwelling consciousness, co-creative Holy Spirit. You can access and have an experience far beyond what it is that's presented here. The low-level consciousness and awareness, worldly beast system matrix that is devoid of fulfillment, actualization, and realization. It only sublimates, right? It supplants that general practice, that art and that science of living. It sublimates with people, places, and things and ideologies that leave one incomplete, unfulfilled, unactualized, and unrealized. Perfect game here, really. Beautiful in its ugliness. It's an amazing realm and simulation to be part of. Best of times, worst of time. Okay, I'm going to throw the link. Idiot. Wow. I'm just sitting here rapping, right, as I normally do, kind of stream of consciousness, and then I got someone in the chat. Idiot. Well, dude, why do you guys deprive yourselves and me and this audience of the interaction? There's the link right there, bud. This is one of the few places, right? You got a lot of content, non-tent creators, right? And they like to do monologues, and they like to bring on their non-special guests. This is open here. Unlike most of your non-tent creators who lie to themselves and everyone else and are afraid of interaction with the general public, we got an open door here. So feel free to address your grievances, come on up, ask questions, give presentments, narratives, historical context, critique, criticism, if you'd like to call me an idiot. And then tell me why. I might be able to build off that. I may be able to learn something from that. Or we might just turn you into the content, non-tent for the day, at least for the moment, right? So I'm open to it. If you like it, I love it. If not, save the one word critiques and criticisms, because I might just have to throw you out of here. If you're not going to come up and stop being a coward in your life, if you're not going to present yourself, show who and what you are and what you're about, I'm going to get you gone, because you probably serve little to no purpose, and you're probably just a hater. It's really what it amounts to. I've learned that here. A lot of folks hating most consistently. They're always rejecting and rebuking what it is that they can't do or be a part of. Okay, let's move forward here. Greetings from the shore of Lake Ontario in Oswego, New York. Wow, good to see you. New York, my original hometown, if you will. I hail from New York, a slave state, as it were. Oddly enough, I guess the majority of folks' state of consciousness is a slave state. So it would be apropos that the state of the consciousness of the beings living on the land would produce the state of the beingness collectively of the government, quote unquote, political system, economic system, religious system, and all the rest of it. So I guess bottom line is, if you think and feel and act like a slave, you generate a slave reality for yourself and everyone else in your vicinity. And that's what we're working on here, right? That's what we're essentially working on, right? Becoming the solution to the self-evident problem that we face at this time, right? That's the cliche, holy cliche here. You got to be the change and exemplify the change in order to make the change. This ain't just about shucking and jiving. This ain't just about yakking and ranting and raving. This is about on-the-ground activism, and that's where most of the audience just checks right out. I get that.
Oh, yeah.
and you try to force or even bring up the idea of responsibility to the problem to create solutions and accountability for your responses, asking yourself where you've done enough or where you could do more, that's where 3/4 of the audience checks right the fuck out, because they're more interested in voting for another slave master, paying the slave tax, and hoping to rewrite the legislation to get them to live free. There's our problem. There's the long and short of it, folks. You want to know how this world or your world's going to change is by you being the answer and the solution to the obvious problem we face right now, which is that the law is not being observed in conscience, what's true and correct and observable, demonstrable, definable, explainable, repeatable, experiential. It's being overthrown for policy and code. That's it. I can pack it up and go home now. Yeah. Go on with the rest of my day. Well, no, obviously I can't, because we're reaching new folks here, right? So since we're experiencing an algorithmic uptake, and I've done over 500 days straight, 7 days a week, 3 hours a day or more, of course we're going to continue here to point these things out and also entertain the folks and remind them of what all of our duties and responsibilities and obligations are here, it would seem to be. I vote on a higher plane. Well, there you go. That's a different conversation. I'm still working on my psychosis since my idiot parents would like to be authoritarian cultists. Interesting life, that. Flagstaff, Arizona. Shout out to Flagstaff, Arizona. Right down the road from me, essentially.
Yeah.
Why, though, it's so unsettling? I don't know what that means. Come on, folks. Come on, folks. Don't be scared. Come on up. Papa Paulie. Uncle Paulie's got you. I'll embrace you. Right. Get right up here on my knee.
Links
Get right up
chat.
Here on my lap and on my knee. Don't worry if you feel anything poking in your back.
Come on, don't be scared.
That's kind of uncle I am. Very loving uncle. Okay? And this is a family broadcast, so don't get put off by that. I'm going to go to the docket here at some point. Harris loves pedos and pedos love Harris. Well, there you go. And that's why we're here. He didn't get what I did today. Okay, I'm going to reveal to you guys what I did. I've been noticing that we're doing one of those elections the slaves love so much again, and it's like in the news. So I hacked into the algo, right? I said, Donald Trump's our daddy. If you notice, it's a combination of me and Donnie Trump, because I actually am, along with others, doing what's necessary on the ground to make a change. Unlike Donnie, who's just a good mascot spokesperson, but doesn't actually do anything he says. He does the opposite. Lockdowns, warp speed, Luciferase vaxes, take the guns, he says, and then go to court later, forget due process, among other things, right? Triple the national debt, I believe, just like the leftists. They're all the same, right? The statists, the corporatists, the fascists, the political dupes are all the same, just there to dupe the rest of you. One big puppet show saga game every 4 years, and you guys fall right into it. So I hacked in. I hacked in with the two names I know would get the most traction in the algorithm, Donnie Trump and Kamala, right? Because that's all it takes at this point on both sides, right? That's all it takes. You got the majority of folks here completely disempowered and duped out, fighting themselves and each other and voting for the same people to take their power and misuse it along with their time, energy, attention, and funds, and write up more code and policy to overthrow your natural rights. That's why you got to look to the Constitution, 10th to 14th Amendment, where they created the idea of Congress and a congressional citizen, right? There's an American national who retains their rights. There's a protected class that the government officials have to uphold their rights. And then there's a privileged class. It's called all you congressional citizens who keep voting and paying slave tax and opting in for Social Security. Right. You gave up your ability to be protected and have your rights upheld so you could get privileges and benefits, mainly Social Security, right? And be kept safe. So they duped you. They used the contract known as the Constitution to amend it to dupe most of you out of your natural power and rights as men and women on the land, and got you to opt into a state of corporate entity, congressional citizenry. If you go to U.S. Code, I've said it here many times, I'll say it for the new folks in back. You go to U.S. Code, you're going to find United States is defined 1A as a corporation. If you call yourself a United States citizen, you just declared yourself a member of that corporation. It's why tax obligations apply to you, because on that tax form, you're going to notice you're calling yourself a withholding agent. Yep. That means you've declared yourself an agent of the public corporate trust. And when you're an agent, you have duties, obligations, and responsibilities, mainly to uphold the code, the same as a policy enforcement agent would. Right? You have little to no discretion at that point. You're bound by your contract and what you swore to and signed to, whether you know it or not. So that's going to be the answer here going forward in the future. It's not going to be what most folks like. Most folks are going to want to go to those Patriot Art channels where they tell you QAnon's going to save you, Donnie's going to save you, the white hats are going to save you. You're going to have to do little to nothing to get it because you're all such great people and deserve to be free and have your rights. You're not going to get here what you want. You're going to get what you need here, right? Those of you who are courageous enough and honorable enough and honest with yourself and others enough to actually walk this walk and do the fellowship in truth, right? The rest of you, not going to like how it sounds, not going to like the fact that you need to sacrifice, not going to like the fact that to make America great again, you're going to have to become great again, presuming you ever were. Okay, and greatness, of course, means sacrifice, dealing with consequences, exercising your rights, upholding the law, presenting at court properly, and getting yourself on record to be recognized as man and woman again with natural rights. That's not going to happen with citizenry, codes, policy, statutes, and all the rest of it. So whenever you folks are ready, Daddy is ready for you here. We'll walk the walk together. As you know, if you look into me, I've been arrested over and over again, multiple court presentments, multiple warrants put out because I refuse to come back and present. I will not bond. I will not sign paperwork. Still, they let me out, and still they don't hold me, and still the warrants get put to the side. I was just arrested the other day. They say the warrants are quashed because they can't get contract or bondage with me spiritually or on record. That's how you have to manage your own affairs, and that's how you have to move with this court system. Most folks are not taught that. They're taught to go pay to get a lawyer. The lawyer's first duty is to the court before his client. That means that they're duping you again. They're working behind the scenes. Go ask Mr. DeCastro, the fake-ass non-law scholar, if you're aware of him. He will tell you all about case law and policy and code and legal procedure while calling himself a law scholar, because he, like most folks, don't understand the difference between legal and lawful. There's a legal society and a law society for a reason. Go look them up and try to figure out what it all means. Hey, I know if we ask the Hoover Institute, because all the folks say the common law doesn't matter, you can go right over to the article. Oh, the common law, huh? Doesn't exist anymore. It's a bunch of nonsense, sob, sit, mumbo jumbo. Right, we know. Common law in the Supreme Court resolving modern disputes requires a mastery of principles too often thought of as obsolete. Wow. Much of the Supreme Court's work is devoted to interpreting statutes and regulations generated by the modern regulatory state. Increasingly, the common law tradition seems to be a little relevant to resolving the great disputes of our time. In my view, relegating common law principles to the backbench constitutes a major source of confusion in the Supreme Court's constitutional jurisprudence. The reason is that modern statutory law is heavily parasitic on the common law. A clear understanding of the uses and limits of common law principles is often the only way to see the bottom of the well in many Supreme Court disputes. So turns out, according to the Hoover Institute and many others who actually get it and are willing to be somewhat honest and real with the public, as I like to refer to them, as it's spelled, the common law is actually the law of this land, and it's been overwritten and eroded by the idea of statute, policy, and code, which, as we know, we'll say it over and over again here, statute, policy, and code is only given the force of law to the consent of the governed. That's Cornell Law University. That's not Paulie Boy and his sob-sit friends, as they like to call me. That's straight from your institutions. That's mainline, mainstream history and record. Do I have to pull it up for you? Press 1 in the chat. Let's do like the Castro number. Press 1 in the chat if I have to find again and pull up Cornell Law University saying all statute, policy, and code is color of law. The Supreme Court's ruled on it. It's only given the force of law through the consent of the governed. And it goes on to say that every man and woman on this land has a right to opt out of being governed by statute, policy, and code. That's what consent of the governed means. Why are you not doing it? Will be my next question. If you want me to pull it up, I'll pull it up. But then after I pull it up and show it to you, I'm going to offer you an opportunity. And then I'm going to ask you why you folks are not attempting to, right, or effectuating the opting out of statute, policy, and code, since it's only given the force of law through the consent of the governed.
Yeah. And
that's when we're going to hear. Did you hear that? Hold on. Exactly. That's what you're going to hear by and large. And we know why. Because even if you give most folks at this time, we're learning, we're growing, we're going to get there at some point, I suspect. I have faith. Many of us will, right? Most will not, but many of us will, right? Few in comparison, right? The few, the proud, the Americana, not the Marines, the servants of wars around the world, along with the other toxified, militarized institutions. Few of us, as the founders and patriots said, will be setting brush fires in the minds and hearts of men and women, and we will be engaging in these certain activities, right? And this activism, non-activism, because we're not harming anyone, we're not causing loss, injury, and harm. That's what you folks are supporting on the other side. You're supporting doing loss, injury, and harm using policy and code and big corporate activities. We're supporting whoever we are, right? Individually. This is not a movement. This is not a cult, right? This is nothing you can characterize as anything other than Americana value systems. And so that's the only thing that makes us true men and women here, is that we are free, we have natural rights under God, and we have a power to choose. The moment that changes, the last 4 years has showed us that, the moment that changes, we cease to have a country anymore. We cease to have an adequate constitutional contract and agreement with the servants of this land and the people, right? We've not done our due diligence as a collective to exercise these rights and uphold the law as it is and understand these words and terms. Well, that time is now, because you're going to see more and more as we go forward, folks are going to be called to court. They're going to be summoned to appear. Dead language, huh? Yep, we're doing sorcery and spelling. You're going to be summoned to appear just like a demon, and then they're going to put you in bondage if you don't know who and what you are. That's what a demon is, a lost fucking soul. See, for all you lost fucking souls, they're going to summon you like they summon a demon to appear, show itself, demon, and then tell me who and what you are. And make sure that when you do, you understand you're in bondage here, because we're the controllers, we're the summoners, right? We're the authority here. So you got to flip that script just like they're trying to flip the script on you. If you got it in you. I know you got it in you. Can you summon it, right? That spirit. The way they're trying to summon you, like you're a non-living or disembodied entity, you have to summon that Holy Spirit in you and go past the fear and courage to do what's true and what's right and speak the word of truth of God on record. Not an easy task, but worth learning how to do, right? I could tell you firsthand experience. Mr. DeCastro can't tell you firsthand experience, but he could sell you a bunch of bullshit products along with the rest of them. But when you see him at court, they go silent. Right? Or they start getting belligerent and combative. What they don't do is call in the Spirit of God, that Holy Spirit, to inhabit that room and to touch the heart and mind of everyone in there with an eternal truth that can't be denied or ignored. That's when you know you're a player and you're in this game on some level. And that's when you know you've gotten access to the true inspiration and empowerment, not that false shit. See? That's the difference. That's when you get safe passage by Sauron and the dark forces. They say, hands off, can't touch this one beyond a certain point because he knows who and what he is and what he's not and what he's here to do. He's not a demonic lost soul who can be summoned to appear and put in bondage. That's for the rest of you. Right? I'd love a different fate for you. But again, we're back to Lord of the Rings and the rest of the archetypal art that imitates life. Most folks here are in the pits of Mordor. They're demonically possessed. They're lost and broken and confused. And they're all collectivized, following the one in front of them to their own detriment. And they're desperate to get a hold of those folks who have that ring of power. The Frodos, if you will, who have some pure-hearted intention to do and be what's true and correct, who use the ring of power only when necessary. They're not clutching for it for their own selfish desires. Right? So this is archetypal. This is ancient wisdom. You could argue eternal truth. We cannot run from it because it is who and what we are from the beginning of time. We can only seek to understand it, transcend and transmute it, and then direct it toward a higher purpose and goal. Right? That's the true service here.
How can you disagree with this man?
I would say that specifically. All right, let's go docket. Why the hell not? Teaching a lesson in our rights. Should we go there? We got some police shooting body cams. Why the hell not? Right? A little bit of governance. We got Donnie. How about Donnie? Yeah, you know what? Everyone loves Donnie. Let's go to Donnie because now they're pushing social credit system and digitized currency, and all the dweebs online think it's going to be their savior and their answer. It's going to make a lot of folks a lot of money in between, I would suspect. I conjecture. I can't prove it. We've spoken about it here before. I'm not telling folks not necessarily to hold any of these things or to invest short, mid-term. But it would seem to be another duping setup, right? They need another monetary system because they've created the dollar to fail and the inflation's through the roof and the money is not money. It's backed by nothing. And instead of encouraging folks to send all the dollar bills back to the Federal Reserve where they're printed and to hold gold and silver, which is actual lawful money pretty much from the beginning of time, they're now going to encourage you to get the digitized version of gold and silver. Another corruption ultimately, right? And it'll work because we're all in the device mode. Of course. Device, of course, meaning of vice. We've all been somewhat addicted and put into bondage with these digital devices. Right? The tablets, the smart devices. So, hey, it'll just be so convenient to hold a digitized version of gold and silver that's non-tangible. You can have as much as you want right in your pocket and take it wherever you want to go. Right. And it can also be tracked and traced and interfere with and taxed objectively, which is, of course, the goal, right? What's the goal, boys and girls? Go ahead and raise your hand. What's the goal all the time, boys and girls, from the collective? More power, more control, less rights for the individual, more ability to tax and interfere with your property and rights and freedom of movement. Isn't that what we learned? But yet still, they're holding out hope that the devil's going to do good this time. Hey, maybe the devil does good sometimes, but I think you folks are going to get duped again, like always, right? I think the last 4 years proved it. Most of you are very dupe-able. Is that a word, dupeable? You're very dupe-able. It's a lot easier to fool you slaves than it is to convince you you've been fooled. So, hey, Donnie's here. Lock it down. Triple the debt. Just get the warp speed shot. Right? Donnie's a Republican though, right? Even though he was a Democrat before he claimed to be a Republican and laughed at everybody in the interview and said, if I ever ran for president, I'll just pretend to be a Republican. You guys are so easy to dupe. Just say rights. Just say God. Just say freedom. Just say America. Wave a flag. And then lock everyone down, triple the debt, and tell everyone to take shots. It's that fucking simple. And the tards like Midlife Ho Logic and the rest of them breaking through the algorithm lately, 170,000 views yelling vote for Trump because they're just so fucking dupe-able and deceived. It's going to happen again. We love the game. So let's go to Donnie praising Bitcoin now. First, they said it was a scam. This is what they all do. They all said it was a scam, right? You know, the BlackRock crowd. Who's the one who runs the Chase? It's Chase, is it not? JP Morgan. There we go. I knew I'd get it. You got to jostle the memory. JP Morgan, you know, Donnie, all the rest of them said Bitcoin was a scam. Don't get it. Then all of a sudden they all bought it and positioned themselves, and now they're going to tell you to get it because it's just going to be so great. Going to save our monetary system. Or we had gold and silver, and the same people 100 years ago engineered a world war after a Spanish flu. Some might say, I know one of them who said it was Fauci himself. Does anyone remember when Fauci wrote the paper for the NIH on the Spanish flu and claimed himself, this is not me, before they say I did misinformation here? Do you want me to pull it up where Fauci said that the majority of the flu cases came from folks wearing the face covering during the Spanish flu period? Yeah, he later way after it happened, right, about 20 years ago, he wrote a paper saying that most of the flu cases and pneumonia happened from face coverings. It wasn't from the Spanish flu. So we did Spanish flu, face coverings. Everyone got sick from the face covering. They offered a remedy, right? Then we went to World War I, I believe.
J.R. Fitley.
Right, World War I. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, no historian, but World War I. Then we went to Great Depression. Is it possible? I've said it here many times. I'll say it for the new folks in back. Is it possible that someone, something, either a group, a family, a cabal of folks, or a spiritual entity using these families and these folks, and or both, are engineering worldwide events over and over on a cyclical timeline every 50, 100, 250 years? Is it possible that there's a bigger plan and program and procedure going on here in this universe than just what we look and choose to see?
I agree, Denzel.
I think it's potentially the case. So we got a pandemic, same thing, right on time. We got a new monetary system showing itself. You remember it used to be gold and silver before that war, and then we went to debt currency, legal debt notes, changed the game forever, became a debt-based economy. And guess what? You were put up as the collateral. Is it possible that maybe Bitcoin is the same thing after the pandemic, during and after the world wars, another inflation-based economic collapse, and we move in a new money system where the people are tokenized?
There's a big chance.
And it's even better tracking, tracing, and taxing system? I don't know. So what's the answer, Paulie boy, is what they'll say. You're doing a lot of fear pointing here. You're scaring the shit out of us. You're telling us basically there's a force here in a group of people that have all the control over certain aspects of our life, potentially. But here's where I show you the bottomless pit and remind you have wings. You remember how men and women used to live? You remember how they started living after the Depression? You remember the idea of Depression gardens when they stopped growing grass in the front and backyard, started growing beans, corn, potatoes, onions, beans, cheese, tomatoes, onions, potatoes. I got to pull that one up. There's an African-American woman. She has a song for that. So yeah, is it possible maybe we just start doing that now? I know, scary. They're going to say Paulie Boy's trying to get us to become one of those apocalyptic preppers. I know, crazy stuff, right? Like actually owning land. All the wealthiest people from the beginning of time are landowners. You know, maybe actually becoming farmers. All the greatest conquerors and leaders throughout history were originally farmers.
For sure, damsel.
Right. Bill Gates is buying up all the farmland along with Chinese corporations and companies because he knows and they know what the fuck I know. And more importantly, they're going to get out ahead of it. They're going to buy up all the land and grow toxified GMO that invades your crops and takes them over. Damn it, Paulie Boy, you're doing it again. You're trying to tell us there's no way out. No, I'm not saying that. Right? Look at what's happening now. You saw yesterday, I pulled up the fire maps. There's exact fires lit in the same position that they're planning on doing a global highway, right? So they always tell you what they're going to do, and then they give you the plan of where it's going to be. And then if you happen to be right in that line when they light it on fire, some might say, in order to clear it out to build the global highway, then you're the idiot, no? I mean, they keep telling everyone exactly what they're going to do and how they're going to do it and where it's going to go and what it's going to look like. And, you know, I guess you either adhere to that and understand that and adapt and overcome and work around that, or you're subject to that, right? If you don't sacrifice and you don't become awake and aware, then you will become the sacrifice for not being awake and aware.
Hey, what's up, Christina?
And being able to evolve and overcome.
Welcome
so
to
we
the
have
show.
to, we're going to, in order to go forward is what I'm saying, what I believe we're going to have to go backward, such as what I'm doing, right? Going back to the land soon again. Very unsavory, but somewhat hospitable piece of land in the desert. We got high desert where it had trees and whatever else. And then we got the lower land, right? So there's another piece of land now right by the mountain. There's a well on it. Turns out that there's water at about 100 to 200 feet on Arizona. Everyone's been lying to everyone, or they're just confused, right? I don't want to believe that everyone's constantly lying to themselves and each other. They're just confused. So let's say, there's a water crisis, Paulie Boy. There's no water on Arizona. And if you do want to get water, you're going to have to drill 100,000 feet down. You're going to have to drill to China to tap into water on Arizona. Right? There's no other way to get it. Then you go around the corner and there's some illegal Mexican who's drilled 100 feet down and there's a well right there. There's water right there. 2 gallons a minute, you know, underground aquifer. Yeah, so they're not going to tell you about that, just like Gaddafi out in the desert. Oh, let's not fund that. It's a bunch of poor people. It's desert. It's crap. Who cares? Next thing you know, they got forests in the desert. They're growing crops in the desert. Because turns out we don't know shit here. And we just keep repeating what the fuck everyone else tells us who have an interest for us not to know. It's called the power differential.
Christina,
if you want to control everyone and you want all the resources and value to yourself, well, it's best to just repeat shit that everyone else repeats so they never know what their true value and power is, where the true value and power is, how to be self-sufficient and self-sustainable, how to not hire a well company, like hiring a mechanic, like hiring a lawyer who has an interest in fucking you. Is it possible? I know they say, Paulie Boy, you're criminal-minded. You're just like a New Yorker. You think everybody's out to fuck you. Maybe. Is it possible when you hire a mechanic that half the time they're breaking shit underneath the car or finding shit that doesn't need to be replaced to make more money? Maybe. Is it possible when you hire an attorney, they're charging you 10 times more for something that's very simple you could do yourself so they can make more money? Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Is it possible the well driller on Arizona to get all the equipment out there and pay all the Mexicans to drill the fucking well? They're going to tell you, man, Paulie Boy, we just can't find any water around here unless we drill all the way to Australia. Maybe, because it's going to make them 100 G's in one fucking shot. I don't know. So maybe we just start working for ourselves. Maybe we just start taking our time, energy, attention, and learning this shit for ourselves. Maybe we stop going to other people who have an interest in fucking us and caring for ourselves and being a bit entrepreneurial and having some ingenuity, right? And maybe trying some things out, fuck around and find out, as they like to say.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. So I'm going to get me a water pump. No, I'm not asking for a permit. No, I'm not going to you people to ask what I'm going to do on my land to be self-sufficient and survive. You can go fuck yourself. I'm getting the water pump. I'm getting the hose, and I'm drilling down 100 feet. It's going to cost me like $50 and a couple days of my time, if that, right? You can look it up online. It's a rather simple process. You'd be surprised. And we're going to find out if there's water down there, and I might even create a channel for it for those who are interested in that. Hey, how to get water in the desert without being charged $50 to $100,000 to dig down to China to access some water. And of course, if you dig to China underneath there and get the water, it's going to be full of lithium and fentanyl and all types of the bones of black people, because Chinese people hate black folks. I've learned there's a whole special on China and Chinese people, and they apparently hate black people, which is not really progressive. That's not nice. It's not right. You should stop that. Chinese people, stop hating black people. We already did that over here. It doesn't work. Turns out black people are amazing. Black people are amazing. They're amazing people. They jump high. They run fast. They're dominating all of our sports at this time, dominating the music industry. We love them. We love our black people. You know what? Let me pull up one of my favorite clips. Trump's black man. that's the. Hold on, dude. This is one of my favorite. Look, Cleveland loves this. What's the key word though? Trump. My African American. That's what it was. He actually has his own African American that he carts around with him and points.
You know what I say now? When we have a protester inside, which isn't even very often, I say, be very gentle. Please don't hurt him. We had a case where we had an African American guy who was a fan of mine.
Where is he?
Great fan. Great guy.
Great,
fact,
amazing.
I want to find out
great guy.
what's going on with him.
There
you know what? Look at my African American over here. Look at him. Are you the greatest? You know what I'm talking about? Okay. So we have an African American.
That was Donald Trump during a campaign rally.
Isn't that so great? My African American right there. There he is. Clean, articulate. He's one of the good ones, right? Doesn't steal. Speaks proper English. Right there. Mine. How much did you, Donnie, how much did you pay for that African American? Right? What did that cost you? I'm in the market for a good African American. I can use one. I love the possessive term, my African American. There's something about that just lights my fire. Is Kamala Harris going to be one of our African Americans? Is she my African American at this point? Right. Oh, that's so great. And then they'll somehow excuse that, right? People on both sides are so hypocritical and duplicitous and phony and just unaware, or they're just willing to just be arrogant and ignorant. Right? They go, oh, there's a reason for that. There's a reason that he brought an African American with him. What does that even mean, by the way? You're born on America. You're American. Irish American, Italian American, African American. We don't do that. It's a black guy, right? You brought a fucking black guy around so you could point at him and go, there's my African American.
Imagine calling somebody an Australian American.
50 people. As soon as you start talking color, these people are right out the door. Right? Can't take it. Can't handle it. Oh, well. There's another audience for you somewhere that's politically correct.
Canadian American.
Let's go 400. Yeah, we're bumping up the numbers today, huh? We're in the algo. Go ahead, subscribe, like, share, all that nonsense. Let's go ahead and cajole the audience. Let's tell them what to do like they do everywhere else. YouTube.com/PimpUnslaved. If you're on Rumble or other places, grow the Rumble channel. Rumble.com, Paul Unslaved. That's the moniker, as you see right there. I'm prepared today. We're promoting, we're marketing indirectly. So go ahead and subscribe, bump my numbers up. If you've been here for a while, the folks have been here for years. I'm a bit shadow banned at times. We changed the format. Now we have access. So feel free to join us here, right? And be a part of the action daily. I'm on 7 days a week. I give you something to do here, give you something to ponder. If nothing else, what I'm good for is for all you new folks, if you got like a place that you go where folks talk this stuff and they don't live it, you let me know and I just pop up there, right? And we do like crusades. I've done that at times. We might reestablish that. Haven't done that in a while, right? Give me somebody's name, right? They let the white gorilla in the building is what happened. You know, I went viral for a traffic video a while back. They let me into the building, into the conversation, and I've been wreaking havoc ever since with this truth, rights, freedom, principles, spiritual faith thing. So if you got a content creator somewhere that talks it but doesn't walk it, or you want to question them to find out what they're really about, you just slip their name to me, and I had it right on over with like 250 folks, 300 folks at this point, and we just liven things up, right? We turn up the heat a little bit because, you know, that's the temperance fire. In order to find out who and what we are collectively, sometimes you got to put a fire to folks' ass, right? A man is shown to be who and what he is when his back is put against the wall or when he's given power. So this is a broadcast by, of, and for the people. And we're willing to do what the others won't, right? You can't teach what you don't know. You can't lead where you won't go. So we make a habit over here, the royal we, I make a habit over here of practicing going past the uncomfortable, right? We're getting comfortable with the uncomfortable, going past our fears, holding us all accountable, turning up the heat at times, and seeing where it goes. It's been beneficial for a lot of us, right? We need that. Much as we don't like that, we need that at times. Oh, shoot. Really? You'll do a pop-up? Man, you're the truth. Well, of course. Why wouldn't I do that? Ask the folks who've been here. I'll show up anywhere, anytime, with anybody, right? I'll open this place up. Anybody, anytime. Have the back and forth, right? This is about the truth. This ain't about persona. This ain't about reputation, right? If it is about reputation, it's got to be reputation and truth. And what can be shown, right? Solutions, on the ground, action, co-creation, not just yapping. That's been the problem. We've had a bunch of celebrities and false leaders and idols and commentators who are not living anything and not bringing any solutions in themselves or on the ground. So we need to do away with that. We didn't come on YouTube to replicate the same shit that got us here, right? This is about actualized and realized. This is about proof and living in truth. This is not just about yakking online to be known as something, right? So if you ain't living it, in my world, you ain't got no place as a content creator or commentator. Your voice doesn't fucking matter. You got little to no value. You're faking it till you make it. Whatever making it means, because if you don't have integrity and credibility and self-respect on the ground and in yourself, you don't have shit, money, numbers, products, and all the rest of it. That don't impress me. Living your truth and your information, sacrificing, dealing with consequences, bringing solutions to the problem we face, that might get my attention and the attention of many others is what I've learned here. Okay, it's called true leadership, right? Something that a lot of us are lacking at this time. Suspect with 2 knives, 4-year-old boy, are both killed in Macomb police officer involved shooting. Grotesque and disgusting. But we'll check it out, right? A little bit of scenes of governance.
Contains information and video footage of an officer-involved shooting with officers from the Macomb Police Department.
You know, because policy, statute, and code is the bane of our existence. We have to get back to peacekeeping and upholding the law and rights.
Yeah, the incident
fascism has to stop.
Illinois State Police, and an internal investigation was conducted by the Macomb Police Department. The video and information contained herein does not draw conclusions on the actions of the officers.
Right, of course not. No, it totally doesn't draw conclusions about corporatism, fascism, and genocide and slavery. Absolutely not.
One caller thinks they may have heard gunshots. Officers arrive within 3 minutes. Officers gain access to the east side stairwell and are met by a person who ushers the officers inside and points upstairs.
Macomb Police, open the door. Huh? Macomb Police, open the door.
Officers announce their presence and order the occupants to open the door.
Huh?
Officers hear screams for help. A distressed female subject could be heard yelling, "He's stabbing me." Officers force entry into the apartment.
Get out!
The Macomb police officer discharged a single bullet. We will stop the video at this point out of respect for the deceased's family members. Following the discharge of the officer's firearm, the threat ended. Officers began rendering aid and called for medical personnel. Both the child and the subject.
Right, great stuff. So they shot a 4-year-old child who popped out in the fucking hallway, right? And we can't figure out why this crap needs to stop immediately.
Holy shit.
You know? So again, for the folks in chat, the link is down there. If you've got questions, comments, concerns, you want to address grievances with me, the chat box is not to do it. Not the place to do it, right? You will get up here, you'll have a conversation, we'll have a back and forth in truth. You can hold me accountable and question me. I'll be as cordial as I can muster, as courteous as I can muster. You know, we can get to that, right? Yeah. So you let me know when you're ready. If not, I'll remove you because I want to create some space to have interactions in the chat. Okay, so we're up around 650 folks at this time. This is what I mean. Okay, this is what I've been looking for. Forgive me if folks didn't understand what I was saying before for 2 years. I explained to you folks, whether you believe me or not, that I was cut off from the algorithm. So now that we have a new format and we're back in the algorithm, we're seeing numbers up around 250, 350, 650, and all the rest of it. So we're back in the algorithm. We're back in the saddle. That's good to see. You know, it's kind of nice when you're not being interfered with. Right? It's kind of nice when you're vindicated in truth. It's not about validation or invalidation. It's vindication because I've already validated within me and with my audience. Right? Because Paulie Boy is a bit frowned upon here, the way that he presents and what he talks about and how empowering and inspiring at times it can be, right? To lead folks back to themselves and out of the self-chosen slavery. But again, you can't keep a good man down and you can't stop an idea whose time has come. So it's only a matter of time before we get where we're meant to go. And really the whole time in between was just a testament to my will and discipline and my faith and to my vision, knowing the outcome while being interfered with, right? They can't gaslight me. They can't interfere with me. They can't make me doubt myself. And the truth beyond a certain point. And that's all that I'm here to show you folks. So I'm glad to see that that message is finally coming forth and being vindicated and validated for the rest of you folks, right? So don't believe the hype, give up, do what is true and what's right, surrender the rest. And at some point, you'll get where you're meant to be, when you're meant to be there with who you're meant to be there with, what I've learned. All right, let's continue on. We got a couple more body cam footage moments here. Greenville County deputy shoots gunman firing into a house. Not necessarily down on that, although why we need policy and code enforcement in order to keep the peace is beyond me. We could just go back to or forward to having sheriffs who come when they're called, right? When there's loss, injury, or harm or breach of peace, they show up and they keep the peace or restore the peace, if with force, if necessary, right? Policy, statute, and code enforcement is superfluous at this time. It's not necessary. It's more than what's necessary. Okay? It's actually a detriment to our beingness. So let's go to that. Let's go to a little bit of peacekeeping. All right, we got a 911 call. We're on the ground. We're responding. Officer Paulie Boy on the ground, puffing and puffing because he's slightly overweight.
It's coming from inside the house. I got a couple more. Someone can come up from the penalty. Just hold what you got. We don't.
Yeah, a little bit of governance, huh?
Wow.
1041 Alpha, 1041 Alpha, 1031 Bravo. Suspects down. Suspects down. 1041 Alpha.
I'm gonna leave it right there. I might be a bit desensitized to this. You know, just I'm so used to slavery and genocide and killing, right, to keep order that I'm a bit desensitized. All right, we got a couple more here. We're gonna run through them. Very disturbing content, by the way. If folks are easily disturbed or bothered by force. Man shot after pointing airsoft rifle at Cedar Rapids police officer. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Not advisable. Just comply. Boys and girls need to comply, cooperate.
Northeast. Check on David here. We've got some 1096 history with him. David Vanderham.
All right, let's flash forward here. Flash forward. We got the call. David's got an air rifle. What's he doing?
Sir, stop!
Oh, every time, man. Every time.
I just changed the title.
Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Drop it! Somebody taser! Somebody taser! Drop the gun!
They're quick, folks.
Wow.
Governance in action.
That's quick.
All right. I think I leave it there for now. Unless you folks want more. I guess throw a 1 in the chat if you want more body cam governance footage. Yeah, let's go to. I never went to it. Let's go to Donnie. Donnie for Bitcoin. Donnie's gonna save us. I'm sure of that.
Hello,
Bitcoin's amazing, by the way. Amazing. Amazing new tokenized monetary tool.
It's good to be with you.
There you go. That's got some nostalgia there.
So, Secret Service just told me, sir, would like a little more time. I said, you take all the time you want. You can take 2 hours, 3 hours. The hell with the people that have been waiting out here, but I'm sure they don't mind either. But it is a great honor, and a lot of things are happening in the world.
Does anyone just? Donnie's getting really like comfortable lately with like me at this broadcast. He's throwing all the caution to the wind. He's on his. This is his last term. If he gets elected, he's got 4 more years. Can't get elected again. He already vaxxed everyone and locked everyone down. He's getting real comfortable with just abusing the audience, right? You got to watch that, Don. I get it. I do it here at times myself, but you're getting way too comfortable. He comes out and goes, "Hey, Bitcoiners, I pretty much told the Secret Service to fuck everyone out here. You can wait. You don't mind. Who cares if they wait, right?" Then he like reels it back in when he realizes the audience is like, "What?" He told his Secret Service, "Fuck us, let us wait." And he's like, "No, seriously, you guys are great, amazing." Reel it in, Don. Right? Have some fucking courtesy. We're waiting for you out here.
Israel
I want you to save us.
Very severely attacked. And,
Oh yeah, what is it? 3 o'clock. Oh, on Slavius' live.
It won't happen. I mean, you just can't.
This dude sounds jealous of Trump. Oh man, come on, man. Give me what I want, what I need. Give us both what we want and need here, Mark, Brian. I'm throwing the link. This dude sounds jealous of Trump. Can I help you out, sir? Can I give you the background here? If you go look into me and who, what I am and what I do, I actually uphold the law and exercise rights. I actually go to court and put it on record. I actually walk out every time without hiring an attorney. Why would I be jealous of a clown? I know that's what you would think, because you think I'd be jealous of someone because they may have more money than me. That's the only thing that matters to you, right? I'm infinitely more of an inspiring, empowered, honest, authentic, capable, competent man on the ground. I am Americana. What you mean is Trump is jealous of someone like me because all the money and the dumb whores that he pays for, like Stormy, don't amount to him being an actual man of character on the ground. I know that's confusing to you because in your world, if you have whores and you have dollars, you're the pinnacle of masculinity. Character, it's not the end all be all, right? So you're confused. Guys like Donnie Trump are jealous of people like me because I don't need whores and a bunch of money in order to exercise rights, uphold the law, go to court without an attorney. Did you see when your boy went there? Like a little child with his head down, let the attorney talk for him, didn't say a word. This is the leader of the free world, supposedly shows up to court like a bitch. You might want to check the record. You're confused. Stop projecting onto me what your feelings are. Many of you look up to Donnie Trump and the worldly slaves here who have no voice of their own, who only come out to pimp and mac on the voters and shit on them while they're claiming they're great people, right? They're just grifting and lying. So yeah, folks like that are jealous of folks like me who actually have a resonance with the people, who are actually on the ground doing things, who have an actual network of powerful, inspiring people, living purpose and meaning, actualizing and realizing, right? And not doing too bad either on the numbers front, right? When we get into value and worth. So yeah, clear up your confusion. Again, I'm willing to have you come up and explain to me why I'd be jealous of a punk coward liar who only seeks to dupe you and people like you into voting for him while not standing for a motherfucking thing on the ground or in his life. His own women and children don't respect him. You want to tell me I'm jealous of him? I have everything he doesn't have and isn't going to get because he's not going to live and do what I'm living and doing what I'm doing. Get a clue, man. You guys are so confused. You mistake the false for the true and the true for the false. Donald Trump's a beta male. He hasn't stood for anything yet. They just duped you all with a psyop, pretending he got his ear shot off. They just showed his ear yesterday. Nothing's wrong with it. You guys got duped again. All they got to do is put some black rock tart up there to shoot at Donnie or to pretend to shoot at him, cut his own ear and bleed with a ketchup packet. And you guys all think he's alpha male central, but you missed the part when he showed up to court and had his head down and didn't say a motherfucking thing, just like Alex Jones did. All you Republicard heroes and idols that you guys worship are frauds and cowards. They pop a bunch of shit on the airwaves and when they're on stages, but when you see them at court, they're sweating like a Golden Corral ham and they got nothing to say. They let their attorneys talk for them. They're too scared to put up or shut up. And then they sell you shirts saying never surrender for triple and quadruple over the price of manufacturing. You guys couldn't be more slaved out and duped out and confused, mistaking the false for the true and the true for the false. So many of us are on the ground. We don't sell products. We don't have services. We're telling it. We're not selling it. And we're actually living our information and making changes. Better ask about it. That's the difference between a true activist and somebody who's living their information versus a grifting, lying, preaching fraud who's just there to dupe you out of your future and private property and your rights. And you'll keep supporting it because you're weak and cowardly just like him. That's the reality of it. You guys are wannabe men. You guys act the part, right? Sounds good, feels good. But when we go to the record, you ain't got it. So it makes sense why you would identify with a clown coward in a suit up there talking a bunch of shit that he don't live on. We already saw the last 4 years. Why would I be jealous of someone that took the vax on a fucking, on a balcony? You don't remember that when he came out on Fox Noise from the balcony with his face covering on like a slave with his muzzle on and took the fucking shot in the arm in front of everybody and said, yeah, it's great. Everyone else needs to get it. You think I'd ever be jealous of a punked out, duped out coward like that who went and put luciferase in his veins to stay safe? He probably didn't take it. It was probably a placebo shot. But if he did do the imagery to take it, like we saw, it was to get all you duped out slaves to take it. So odds are there's a good chance he didn't actually take anything but salt water in the arm. But the rest of you slaves watched him take it and went out and got the poison. Isn't that right? So how and why would I be jealous of a motherfucker who either took the poison or convinced you slaves to take the poison when I did without all that? When I got arrested over and over again for not wearing a face covering, when I got arrested over and over again for exercising rights and upholding the law, while your bitch ass, fake ass leader followed through, right? Bent the fuck over, towed the line, and convinced the rest of you to do the same. You got everything backward here, boy. We're to get it right.
They cannot do this.
This guy's a clown to me. You guys are clowned and duped out, right? That's what this is. You better get it right. I'm playing them and talking about them because they're showing who and what they are and who and what you all are on the whole. Nothing to be jealous of. I think that it's a big joke. Great entertainment, though. Hey, should I play the video of Hulk Hogan ripping his shirt off and doing WWE speeches to get you all to vote for your daddy?
They have to respect our country.
That was insane.
Never have happened.
I saw that clip.
And we just cannot let it continue. So we just wish them all a lot of luck. This happened to us as I'm walking on the stage. Most of you have heard about it.
Hey, shout out to the chat. Anybody wants to join the panel?
Just come on up and have the back and forth with me. Don't keep making me go back to the video and then pausing it. Just come on up and have the conversation with me. Right, Mark? Okay? He didn't tell us we had to get the shot. Right. Is that what you remember? Does it matter what he told you how to get and not get? Can anyone tell you what you have to do and not do? The point is your leader, your hero, your alpha male took the shot. He caved. He took it. And he either didn't take it or pretended to take it to get you to take it and others like you to take it, or he actually took it. Either way, he's a corrupt, cowardly scum and deceiver. What's the difference what he told you and not told you? Was he not for the NIH and the WHO locking down small business and claiming everyone had to stay 6 feet apart and wear face coverings and get shots? Yes, he was. So why are you an apologist? Why are you defending your Stockholm Syndrome daddy who's been a liar and abuser to you? Are you that dysfunctional? Can't you just call your daddies out when they beat you and rape you and lie to you and support deviance in the home? Or are you that Stockholmed out that you can't get it done? Come on, man. You can do better than that.
Yeah.
Both sides, all sides need to call themselves and their daddies out on the deviance.
Yeah.
And on the delusion and the deception.
Yeah.
It's not going to work out for you if you don't embody this process.
Right. I agree.
Right. MAGA is one of the highest titles in the Church of Satan. Well, that's just another coincidence, don't you know? That all the words and terms and symbols they use are satanic. Right. That's just another coincidence. Don't worry about that. You're theorizing, right? These people are way too smart for that. Right. The same people who locked down were called non-essential, don't understand how debt-based economy works or politics or religion, right? They're smarter than that. You're just a theorist, selfish theorist, right? Get really real with ourselves and each other. Break the political machine. No, just stop engaging in it. You don't have to break or overthrow anything. Stop giving it your time, energy, attention, your power, and your value. Stop buying into it and believing it. Call it out for what it is. Come out of it and create around it or outside of it. Stop existing within it and being codependent with it. Simple. There you go. Trump 2024. The tards can't get enough. Can't get enough. They say, lock me down again, call me non-essential, triple the debt, say you're going to take the guns outside of due process, and tell everyone that they should get a vax. It's good for you while he gets it on the balcony, right? It's what you guys love. You can't get enough of getting pimped and hoed on, beaten and abused. You're already slaves, Stockholm Syndrome slaves. You can't get enough of it. I love it. I find it fascinating, right? Because we're going to do another 4 years. Everything's going to get worse. You're going to go into economic collapse during an engineered world war because your buddy there's working with Kissinger and Israel and all the rest of it to stage more world wars like they always do, some might say. Right. And you're going to get pimped on and played on, and you're going to get more taxed to do the wars around the world and the expansionism and the conquest and New World Order and build the global highway. And you're going to keep shouting out for your side and your team that's only there to dupe you and to get your time, energy, attention, and money and use it to fuck you out of your future. You love it. Love your slavery.
But it just
hold on. No, forget this. Forget it. I don't even want Donnie. I want this. I want this again. This is what makes me happy. Hulk Hogan RNC speech. This is what shows. Idiocracy was a documentary. It wasn't an entertainment piece movie. Idiocracy, the movie, portrayed to be an entertainment piece, was actually a documentary of this land and the retarded people on this land, right? Using wrestlers to get everyone to vote for their own enslavement.
Shot at my hero.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, you're a slave and a dude.
They tried to kill the next president of the United States.
We're at WrestleMania, president issue.
Was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again.
Fucking duped out tards. Look at you. Look at them.
America great again.
I love it. Yeah. US ape. US ape. If you just would elect an ape chimpanzee, everything would get a lot better. You'd stop getting gamed and pimped and have to pay for all the expansionist wars around the world and New World Order. Here, let's go to let's go to Trump fans in the crowd. Question and answer. Let's go to the question and answer period where those folks in the crowd tell you who and what they are. All right? And then you just get to see how fucking dumb and disempowered and duped out they are. This is just the average American public at this point. Why do you think your masters laugh and giggle at you and mock you and do humiliation rituals and set up, people to be killed, right? This is the level of the mockery, the humiliation rituals, right? All the staged events, some might say, the shootings, the bombings, all the rest of it, because they look at you like lowly, pathetic, embarrassing scum who would rather live in ignorance and arrogance than actually face the dark truth and become better. So they sacrifice you, whoever you are, wherever you are, right? Just like they did the other day. So, well, how could it be a fake PSYOP setup? I didn't say people don't die. Well, they shot some firemen. Yeah, they don't care. You think it was a coincidence that the guy who was on the roof, they all saw him, didn't do nothing about it. He was wearing a Top Gun YouTuber shirt. He was in a BlackRock commercial. We played the commercial here. Is it all a coincidence? No, another PSYOP. And yeah, in their PSYOP, sometimes they kill people or allow people to be killed because they don't care about you. They don't have any value for your life. To them, you're a waste of time, energy, attention, and life. I could relate on some level. When I look at the average member of the public and their willingness to be duped out and deluded and deceived and continue in ignorance and arrogance and destroy this land and this planet and themselves by proxy, they're a waste of time, energy, attention, and they have no value or power. That's the reality of it. Would you like me to tell you something that sounds good and feels good that isn't in line with reality? So if you don't live by values and principles, if you're not good faith and honorable, if you have no discernment and you're not willing to cultivate that, you're an ignorant, arrogant slave, and you're harming yourself and everyone else. You can also be judged by what you don't do. Not only what you do, what you don't do. You won't stand for rights and freedom and principles. You won't sacrifice and deal with the consequences like many of us on the ground. You keep voting for corrupt slime scum to take everything from you. And you think you deserve something in this life? You think you deserve credit and credibility and love and to be rich and wealthy and all the rest of it? No, you deserve exactly what's coming in that you're creating and summoning that you're going to get. Disenfranchisement, disempowerment, disintegration, right? And discontent. And you keep in your blissful ignorance saying it's all going to get better right around the corner. Just keep voting for the same people who've lied to us and fucked us over and over again. You're a fucking duped out coward. You just don't want to actually become an American and become great and do what the fuck you need to do to change yourself in this place. You're willing to accept less over and over again and call it the greatest and the best. Good luck with that. Sure, it'll end well. Where is it? Yeah, I want images of slaves. I want images of slave groups on the
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Vance is going to change America.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I had heard of J.D. Vance, but I had not heard an opportunity to hear him speak until the Republican convention a few weeks ago, and I was really
Who's this person?
I love
J.D.
what he
Vance?
has to say. I really do. I think he's a great fit for the Republican ticket.
Look, this is your average. This is your average dupe tard on the ground.
And maybe a future president.
Laughing, giggling, completely unaware.
No, everyone has the
Hallucinating.
right to change their mind, but hopefully they change it based on the right information. That's probably what JD inevitably did.
You're a loser. I love it. But none of you will come up, right? I'm the loser, but you're here now watching me, right? Doing nothing other than supporting your daddy because you're powerless. But I'm the loser, right? You're gonna pay a third of what you made this year to go to war for Israel and Ukraine and do new world order, right? And drive the inflation up, destroy yourselves and each other, this land and this economy. But I'm the loser, right? Oh, if only, man. If you're going to see who's the loser, right? We're going to see who's been gaining and gaining and gaining, not only in popularity, but in credibility and retaining their integrity and gaining and exercising their rights and freedoms and inspiring others to do the same. We're going to see who the gainers are here and the losers very shortly, if we haven't already. Just so you know, stick around.
What you call blue dog Democrats before my buddy Obama came into power, and that was the start of everything.
Big for us here again in the city of St. Cloud is safety. We have a lot of immigration issues, and we're looking to bring St. Cloud back to normal.
Hold on, they're saying someone down there just said they smell meth. Well, that would make sense because you're probably a trailer park Republican whose mama you're living with is cooking meth and lost all her teeth, and they think if they just vote for Donnie, who's the second coming of Jesus, right? While they yell about the left people mocking Jesus, they actually mock Jesus by saying Donnie's the second coming of Jesus. He's going to save us all if we would just vote for him again. So that would make sense why you're smoking meth. It's either you're smelling meth. It's either your upper lip or your mom or your granny in that Republican trailer park you live in, right? Close to complete homelessness and poverty with the inflation rate through the roof is probably cooking it up right now. She just added the red phosphorus. That's not me. I've never used meth. I don't use meth. Oh, you're confused maybe by the fact that I'm activated and animated, because I would bet anything if I went to you, you probably look and sound just like the majority of this Trump tart public, like a fried egg in a chair. You can barely summon the energy after you're done working 60 hours a week for your slave job to pay 1/3 to Israel and Ukraine. You probably can't even muster the energy to mumble something out of the side of your mouth, especially something coherent, conjugal, right? So whenever you're ready, Trump tards and left tards and all the rest of the status, collectivized, communist, socialized scum who keep paying 1/3 of what they make to corporations to do New World Order and take everybody's rights, property, and freedom and do WWE Coliseum-like optic games and plays to get everybody watching and invested, and then call the actual American heroes on the ground, upholding the law and standing for rights and going to jail over and over again, calling us losers and failures. That's you. That's you and your fake WWE optic idol worshipped heroes that do nothing for themselves and you over and over again. Stop projecting. We're still waiting, by the way. I'm an hour and 40 minutes in. We're still waiting out of 500 people here right now for one of you duped out, retarded losers who keep projecting onto me to come up here and have a back and forth. You won't do it because you already know what's going to happen. You're going to show yourself for the retard you are. You're going to make absolutely no sense. First of all, you can't even get up here because you're such a coward, just like you can't stand for rights and uphold the law in your life. You're a fucking coward, 90% of you, right? So you ain't going to come up here because you're a coward. And you know if you went past your fear and your cowardice and came up here, you're going to look like the dumb, retarded lowlife that you are with no understanding and no application, no empowerment, no inspiration, and no understanding of yourself and your rights and how to manage your own affairs and change yourself and change this world. You already know that just like I know it. So cut the games. Right? Cut the games with the pretend fantasies. We already know what it is here. Okay, let's continue. This is the average publicard right here. Average public.
They're destroying it.
Oh, that's it. I want more. Hold on, let me get more. More images. There we go. This looks promising. We're doing, this is a new bit here. Images of the average public.
President Donald Trump is holding a rally across state lines in St. Cloud, Minnesota tonight. Adam Duck.
Yeah, get your merch, get your shirts. Let's aggrandize Republican Party more, make them more money for our rights. You don't even know what they are, but we're going to get them back.
Sisters Kelly and Cassidy Batts say
there you go.
Was done days ago.
There's the duped out broken hose with their hats on and merch.
Our home state.
The two driving 3.5 hours from Crookston, camping out overnight to be first in line for former President Trump.
I'm super excited to finally get to a rally. This is my first rally.
First rally. Rally for what?
Here. This brings democracy right.
Democracy.
This weekend is.
Ooh, they just hit you with it. See how easy that was? The public tarts didn't realize what just happened right there. They just checked right out because they have no understanding of words and terms. He just said this brings democracy. This spreads democracy. You Republicans don't even understand this was not supposed to be a democracy. It's supposed to be a republic of and by and for the people. That means every man and woman has natural rights and can't have that overthrown by a political system. You folks are so deep into overthrow, treason, and traitorousness, you think democracy has anything to do with being a Republican. You're so fucking retarded and have no knowledge of history. How pathetic. How absolutely pathetic. So being a Republican and supporting a republic has nothing to do with democracy, socialism, corporatism, fascism, which is exactly what taxation to spread the wealth is. You folks are all opting into contracts to pay a third of what you make in tax to redistribute wealth through entitlement programs and other war activities. That is the definition of communism, collectivism, socialism, fascism. Whether you know it or not, you don't have to know it for it to be true. So you're duped out. You don't understand history. You don't understand the difference between a republic and a democracy. You don't understand the difference between legal and lawful. And you don't understand the difference between natural rights, benefits, and privileges because you're a duped out, collectivized slave.
It's about showing off
how simple that was
and building on a historic list of politicians who visited town.
You go back to Eisenhower was here. John F. Kennedy would have been here, but because of a snowstorm in Minneapolis, he was grounded in Minneapolis and phoned in to a rally in 1962.
All right, we got a lot of chat. Maybe I just stick with the chat, right? Maybe I just stick with chat engagement. Why the hell not? You know, a lot of confused tards here now all of a sudden. I need my help. All he wants to do is make fun of Trump supporters, but I don't see him saying anything about the criminal syndicate, which is the Biden Kamala agenda, because you just fucking so retarded that you either missed it or you didn't look into it or you didn't ask. You just went and projected. I don't see it. So if I don't see it, it must not be real. There's your problem. You folks don't see most things in life. You didn't see what happened with 9/11, did you? We won't get into it. You didn't see the 2.3 trillion missing in the bushes and all the rest of the connections? No, it doesn't exist. Pearl Harbor, the Vietnam War, right? Do we have to get into all this? The Fort Knox, the gold situation, the gold standard, the legal society versus the law society. There's 2 states on every state. State of Colorado, Colorado State. You folks don't see most things and how it works. So maybe ask next time, hey, what do you think about the criminal syndicate that is Kamala and the Biden agenda? They're all the same, sir, ma'am. Did you not hear me before? You must have missed it because the first hour I did on comparing the idea that both sides are opposites. They're both equally duped out and deceived. They're both equally fascist, right? And they're both equally destroying themselves and each other and this land by supporting democracy rather than the republic that this land was supposed to be engaged as. So in case you didn't know, Donnie was on the plane with Epstein and all the rest of them. Donnie's at the parties with Hillary Clinton and the rest of them. Donnie's a mover and a shaker and a player and a businessman. He's duping you and deceiving you. 2 wings on the same bird. Okay? So we don't play favorites here. We don't do the whole projection of the power, the true power, onto a team and then try to play the side for that team. That's how you divide the nation and destroy the nation because it's not based in founding principles or founding process and procedure. Okay, so you need to go understand the Constitution, the fact that they amended it, created a Congress and congressional citizens, then erected a body politic and called it democracy, which is a corporate endeavor. And they got you all to opt in, identify with it, and play into it to your own detriment. So both sides are corrupt, always have been. Both sides are working for international interests and central bankers, always have been. Both sides are convincing you all to pick one side, fight the other side, and ignore on both sides our natural rights, the idea of God and faith and trust and freedom and personal choice. Because if we would just pick a side, you got to choose the old false choice. We got to choose a side and then defend that side in order to get back all the things we're not going to get by not living that way, but choosing a side. It's just that simple. How do you dupe and deceive and punk out a whole world of slaves who refuse to see the idea of cause and effect and will always do what the slaves before them have done? So long as your mommy and daddy keep voting, you're going to keep voting. They keep paying the slave tax. You keep paying it. You keep identifying as a citizen of a corporation just like them. You have no idea of what a Native American is. It's just someone born on America. That'd be all of us. We're native to wherever we're born. So we're all technically Native Americans. We're all technically American nationals. We're born on the American nation, the land. And then you got opted into being a resident of a state of, which is a non-physical entity. It's a corporation. They gave you the all caps name during the last revolution of the money system. They created the birth certificates, made everyone the collateral, got you to opt in to a corporatized fascist system where you are the surety for the debt. Okay. So that's what's going on here. It's called centralized bankers, corporate takeover, using democracy to deprive the people of their free choice and rights and take their property. Most of you folks, if you have a house, don't own it, even if it's paid off. You pay taxes on the land underneath it. That is a lease to the United States corporate body. Okay. So the bank owns your properties. The bank is connected to U.S. corporation. You folks are on record as trustees. You don't own your property, your house. You don't own your car because you're registered. Register, root word means regis of king. So whether you folks are aware of it or not, you're living in a democracy, which is feudalism, where you at this time have no actual property on record, even if you use it and upkeep it and maintain it. Technically, it's registered to the banks and to the corporations. Okay, so that's why Klaus came out recently and said, you slaves are going to own nothing and be happy. And then you all went, oh, that's crazy. It's already happened. That's what's so amazing. They don't even tell you what's going to happen until it's already happened and you've accepted it. Most of you reject what I'm telling you, won't look into it, and won't even confront the idea that you don't own any property at this time. On record, by definition, all the property is titled, all the property is registered, all the property is taxed, meaning that you're holding it in lease and contract. And at any time, those contracts can be revoked and that property can be repossessed or adversely possessed. So you better get a clue on how politics, banking, religion all work separately and together to dupe you out of your private property, your private beingness, your rights and personal choice, and all your property that goes with it. Everything that extends off your mind and heart and beingness is being taken over at this time because you do not have mastery and control over your mind, heart, and beingness, and you don't understand what you need to know and how to effectuate that. And that's why folks like me are going into this subject and these subjects and blazing a trail and exercising the rights on the ground and practicing upholding the law and retaining our rights and property and changing the status of those titles, because men and women grant titles. That's what holding property and trust is about. Oh, we don't want to talk about holding property and trust, even though your daddy Donnie says he doesn't pay any tax because he understands the tax code and doesn't have to pay. His property's held in trust. Donnie knows what I know. Is he going to tell you and share it with you? No, but he'll come out and mock you and say, of course I don't pay no tax. I'm not like the rest of you slaves. I understand the law versus the legalities. I understand how to work in trust and equity. I understand what my duties and obligations are and are not. If only you folks would learn the same thing instead of hoping on daddy to do it for you. Maybe learn what daddy knows and use it for yourself. I don't know.
All right. Aha. So no sound. That's great. Damn. this one? Well, that's a dumb thing to do. Let's try that again. Or hold on a sec. I'm gonna have to stop share screen and reshare it. That's all. Hold on a second here. Yeah, I got it. There it is. Live. Man, what a freaking long... Come on.
And do what we do and be responsible and accountable and presentable and honor able and all the able words. I think that's pretty much good to go. So again, that's one of the cornerstones of addiction. If you folks ever go to NAAA, they'll tell you, well, one of the characteristics of addiction is, does the substance you use drastically change who you are and your personality? And when you don't have it, same, right? And if that's one of the key defining parts of your activity, well, then you got to start to cut that out of your life, right? So whether it's cannabis, alcohol, whatever it is, if it's something that drastically changes your personality and lifestyle when you're on it, or drastically changes your lifestyle and personality when you're off of it, you probably got yourself a healthy fucking addiction there, and you may want to look at that. That could be food. Shively says, appreciate you and all you do, sir. Thank you, Mr. Shively, for your contribution. George MC says, appreciate you, brother. Of course, I appreciate you, Mr. MC. You've been around from the beginning, so it's good to see folks stick it out. Loyal folks, they're loyal to a process and a purpose here. It's not about me necessarily, right? So a lot of folks have been here from the beginning. They've been through the shadow banning and beyond with me. They've stayed true to themselves and a process and purpose here. And that's a good vibe as well, right? That's evidence of a true community or a co-creation on some level. Even though we meet here, right, there's still a communion, if you will, the root word to community. Kenneth F. says, gifts from friends and family, blessings. Of course, that's cousin Kenneth. Extended friends and family, non-taxable events in the private. That's why PayPal has business and services and has friends and family, because there's two jurisdictions. That's one of the things we go over here regularly. We got to hammer it into the ape skull of the average slave who's going to vote again, right? We're taking them one at a time. We're assimilating them. You will become part of the Sovsit dark side. And of course, I say Sovsit in quotes, being a bit flippant, right? You will come over to the side of rights, freedom, principles, spiritual faith, and seeing order in this creation. Right? Should I pull up the picture I posted yesterday on my social media for all the folks who may need a padded cell and a straitjacket? And what I mean by that is they can't seem to see evidence of God. God is in quotes. I don't really like the term. But so we know what we're talking about here, cosmic order in creation, right? Some type of order beyond the chaos, right? And I'm not just talking government order ab chaos. I'm talking real cosmic order. So I'll post the picture, or I posted the picture yesterday, of a plant that creates leaves that are in the shape of a hummingbird. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that. Let me pull that up. Doing a little bit something different today. It's gardening with Paulie Boy. And then I'm going to get to Lawcock, flash to the past. Even just saying that. That's actually the cop's name. I had an interaction with him, and he gave me his card. It says Lawcock on it, Mr. Lawcock. You can't make this up. I had one where the plate was Ego 356, and then this one, which was Mr. Lawcock. A bunch of others. So let's see. Hummingbird leaf plant. I'm an expert at fucking keywords, I'll tell you that. This damn plant. There it is. There it is. Okay. So for all the folks who are not aware of the quote unquote experience of God, right, which is really just creational order in the cosmos, could you explain this to me? Someone, and there's many examples of these kind of things, right? And you know, this is where all the atheist trash say, well, Paulie boy, that's just nature, it's just evolving, it's just random. You know, they have no explanation for how this works. But yeah, the plant just creates leaves that are in what seem to be the exact shape of a hummingbird over and over again, right? That's so cool, right? Not only is that so cool, right? We can do that. That's so cool. Or what we can do is acknowledge it for what it is. Evidence of creation. Evidence of creation, right? And no, I'm not here to do some religiosity rap. You know me. Rough around the edges. I have a sense of humor. I'm not overly pious. It's because I'm that way that I'm a perfect fit to be used by the creational force to communicate these ideas, because I'm not biased. I didn't grow up in a religious cult, right? I thought it's all nonsense from the beginning, because everything I saw and heard at church was crap. Okay, to be Hank about it. We have someone here who was named Hank, and instead of to be Frank, it became to be Hank. Whatever. It's an inside thing. So yeah, it's like, bottom line here, how do you convert the slaves who keep voting, keep giving their power away, keep being feared into false choices by what seems to be chaos? You have to introduce them to the idea that there is order in this cosmos and in this creation, that there is not only evidence of creation, that it is seemingly the fact of the matter, right? And the more that you start to believe that, you will see that, right? So they say, see it and you'll believe it. Well, turns out that there's an inverse relationship to that, right? If you start to believe it, you will also start to see it more. They say, you know, if I say yellow Porsche, you'll start to ride around now and see a yellow Porsche and say, well, it's almost like once I became aware of that, I started to see them everywhere. What is the relationship between the quantum field or the quantum aspect of reality where the perspective seems to shift and change? Manifestation seems to shift and change, right? To me, that's direct evidence of a relationship between the observer, the viewer, and the experience, so to speak, the experiencer and the experience, right? So that's part of one of the things we do here, right? If your grandma, like I said yesterday, if you're at the dinner table with grandma or whoever else, and they're kind of like atheistic and they're just kind of like, you know, browned out. And no, I don't mean African American. Watch yourselves. So he's a right-wing sovereign citizen and a racist. I'm saying just kind of like glazed over, you know. They got the syrup goggles. They're just kind of slow. You know, they got this malaise about them. They don't really get it. You know, they're going to vote again and pay slave tax and not understand natural rights, freedom principles, value systems, faith, trust, equity, the maxims of law, right? Most of them just don't know the law here. You know, you just plop this broadcast right on the speaker, right by grandma's hearing aid. You know, you get some of those particles and waves in the quantum field into that dense ape-like skull, right? For a lot of you black sheeps out there who are like me, who grew up in a seemingly completely unconscious and unaware home, where folks just keep doing the same shit over and over again, acting like it's going to change or be different, which is the definition of insanity. Hi, it's good to meet you. Good to have you here. Right? This is like the NAAA for black sheep of the family, for semi-conscious and aware folks, right? It's like not a testament to how genius we are. It's a testament to how foolish and insane the average person is, right? And of course, we're just being equitable here. You got to include your family and friends. You can't just, you know, look out at the mall and see the folks in the herds shuffling up and down, consuming, you know, reproducing. I don't want to say it. It's triggering, I know, but hey, we're not politically correct here. Reproducing retarded children, right? Who they just keep jabbing them up, 40 to 50 fucking shots by the time they're 1 year old. The autism rate's going through the roof. You know, half these kids now can't even pay attention for more than 30 to 40 seconds. Like yesterday, did you see we hit the algorithm 140,000 views? Average view being about a minute, right? That's fucking great. I got someone in the back. I'm going to bring him up. Victor, can you give me 2 fingers? Or give me the Irish hello and goodbye? There you go.
Yeah, what's up, man?
What's going on, Victor?
Yeah, not much. I just joined your live, and they was
All right.
I was asked if I wanted to share my story with you guys. Well, not even my story, my experience.
All right, yeah, go ahead. Give me what you got.
Yeah, so I don't know if you're in front of Google. Is there a way you can
Google?
access Google? Yeah.
Okay, what about it?
Yeah, I was actually framed by the NYPD. I was held in solitary confinement for over a year, and now I'm representing myself in federal court. Go and sit down.
Okay, what's your name?
My name is
your name
Victor.
there? I'm in the back. Victor Abraham, that's your name?
Yeah, just you could Google Victor Abraham Staten Island, and you will see all the articles about me.
26?
Yeah. Well, I'm 27 now. This happened to me when I was 19, and as of today, the officers haven't been charged. Nah, I mean,
Okay, so the bottom line is, because right away, you know, I got to go with what my intuition is.
Yeah.
Right away, I just, for whatever reason, believe you're telling the truth.
Yeah.
You know, after tearful acquittal, let's pull this up. After tearful acquittal at robbery trial, former Staten Island man files civil rights lawsuit versus city NYPD officers. It goes on to say, former Staten Island man who was accused of robbery and attempted robbery and then spent a year in jail before he was acquitted at trial has filed civil rights lawsuit. Yeah, that's sickening, man. You know, it's grotesque. And this is what I mean, man. Like, I'm going to get emotional right now. I'm even starting to tear up. You know, this is what I mean when fucking DeCastro and the rest of them want to cry at fucking jail, and they want to play the victim, and they want to get on the phone every day to their fucking hundreds of thousands and millions of viewers. I'm glad you came here today, sir. Another divinely inspired event, right? That this guy would show up from my home area, New York, and tell a story. This is why when you guys wonder why I'm screaming and fucking yelling, when you guys wonder why you think I'm hating on people, we're getting hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars and squandering it and tricking it off, it's because in the back of my mind, a guy like this, who I fucking grew up with, sat in a can for a year and still hasn't gotten justice. While you slaves are all over the fucking internet with your big mouths and all your numbers and all your credit and all the money and the rest of it. This guy, sir, what's your background? You don't have hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars, do you?
No, I was only.
You guys are bitching because I was restreaming porn.
You know, beginning my life, I was getting ready to go into the Air Force, and now I would never be allowed to fly a plane, like, because I was tortured. That's exactly what happened to me. In fact, the assistant district attorney, which they don't even speak about in the articles, is now a New York State Assemblyman. Like, he didn't care about my rights, but they promoted him as a New York State Assemblyman, and the city is offering me $5,000 for 385 days in solitary confinement.
Oh my God, these people, dude! I'm telling you right now, I'm from New York. I got the fuck out of there. I headed to Colorado, similar, not exactly the same, and now I'm going to be on Arizona, right? We had an issue on New Mexico, which you could argue I never should have been where I was to begin with, trying to get land on a place that I don't resonate with. But I'm not going to give anyone ever advice. I'm just going to, again, I would never tell anyone to do anything I wouldn't do. But if I were you, and I am you on the highest level, where oneself, conscious and awareness before having this physical experience, I get the fuck out of there, bro. You know, because New York is one of the most corrupt places when it comes to bureaucracy and policy and code. I mean, again, you're going to have it everywhere you go to some degree, but maybe it's just because I live most of my life there that I'm, you know, I have partiality, right? I'm a bit biased. But yeah, I'd get out of there. You know, I'd find a place with better weather out in the middle of nowhere, you know. I'd live like the old white people do, or like the black folks do on the motherland. You get what I'm saying? Out on the land, growing your own shit.
I'm originally from Africa. It's funny that you mentioned that. I came there in 2006 when I was only 9 years old, I believe. And you
Wow,
know, it's
that's
like ever
interesting.
since I got here, the system is like been designed to screw me. First, ACS took me away from my mother, said they was gonna put me in a better situation. They put me with kids that was like 18, 19, you know, kids that couldn't actually go to jail, so they was in group homes. They had me there for a while. And then when I made it home now, trying to get my life together, figure things out, I get my life, my freedom taken from me. Like it's like been one thing after another, one thing after another, and now this insult, like for them not to even charge the officers and then to turn around and offer me $5,000 is rubbish. It's just rubbish. And I've been paying my taxes
That's
since
terrible.
2006. You can't go nowhere in this
A year
country
of your life for
without
like
paying taxes. And then the people that's receiving
$5,000.
our
That's
tax
just
dollars,
terrible.
when somebody harm us, nothing happens to them. That don't rock
Yeah,
with me.
but this is the thing, man, is that you may not be aware of this, but you again, it's difficult. It's not difficult. It's a challenge for me at times to do what I do because I get this vibe that folks like you are brought here by the universe, by the spirit, because you want to do good, you want to be good, but you haven't been raised in consciousness and awareness to see this thing completely for what it is. And that's a seemingly grandiose and arrogant thing for me to say to people, which I do regularly, right? I'm aware of how that comes off. I'm only saying that because I'm having, I believe, the same experience as you, and I'm on the same journey to more consciousness and awareness. And I just see the gap there, right? So like when you talk to me about paying taxes, I'm going to tell you that my understanding is that taxation is voluntary and it's contractual and it's based on your status and standing on that paperwork. If you go look at that paperwork and you go look into it, you'll find that there are alternative tax forms that describe American nationals and the differences between their tax obligations versus what we call a withholding agent of the United States, which is defined as a corporation. Federal code, right? If we go to USC 1A, it's going to say United States is a federal corporation.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about like filing taxes every year or something like that for a job. I'm talking about like if I go to the store, if I go
sales tax. Okay, but this is the thing too. You need to understand. All taxation on this land is voluntary, whether we recognize it or not. I have not done the process because at the time I didn't really have much money. I did. I had everything I needed, but I'm cheap and I didn't want to let go of it. And I was more interested in just standing on my thoughts, emotions, actions, and what I know. But I've seen folks, I know folks, right? I've been in touch with folks who do this. The more I've done this legal, lawful thing, the more I've got put in touch with other folks who've done processes. I know folks who have different passports that explain their actual origin. And through the status change, they're not subject to sales tax. Are you aware that on Oregon, I believe it is, that there's no sales tax? Just like on Nevada, there's no income tax. So these things are not static realities, unchanging, right? There's movement and there's gray area with a lot of this stuff. And the system seeks to keep everyone in the black and white and not observing the gray area. Kamala and Donnie is a good example, right? Bush and Biden are a good example. These are black and white concepts where everyone plays into it and forgets there's a gray area here, right? The gray area in that example is
people be like, oh, you should pick the lesser of two evils. I'm not selecting no evil. I'm not.
There you go.
Enough for that.
There you go. And this is what I'm saying is that there are certain folks here who they would call the chosen ones, if you will. And it doesn't matter how much indoctrination, mind and heart control and torture they receive. They do not fall for the duping and the deception. They may get people sometimes, some places, right? A lot of us get caught up at times, right? It's almost impossible to be impervious to this thing. But something inside of you, an intuition and understanding, can see through the bullshit and the pimp game, right? Because again, that's all you need to understand. That's exactly the same thing that's come out of my mouth and many others when we're given the false choice. Hey, you got to pick the lesser of two evils. No, because it's still evil.
Right.
It's a Luciferian false choice, right? This is a soul test. That's all that this realm is that folks don't seem to understand. I can't prove it, like most things can't really be proved. But anecdotally, what I've learned about incarnation in this realm, on some level, this is a test of soul, test of faith, spirit, will, if you will. Right? And it's really a big part of it is discernment. Can you see? Can you feel? Can you hear? Are you able to know? Versus the unknower or unbeliever who's tricked out of their power and position over and over again. My father just got diagnosed with prostate cancer. My mother died in the same year as my grandmother. My uncle just died of cancer. All of them, right? Like 3 or 4 people in my family have gotten cancer over the past 5 years. They're all dead. They all went to the medical system for treatment. And my father's now going to do the same thing. Do you think it'll ever fucking occur to him, just like the last 4 years, just like 30 years before that, of government? The word government means mind control in Latin. Do you think it'll ever occur to these people to stop going to the same institutions and people in places where they lose their power while looking for it? It's just, for some of them, seemingly never going to occur to them. I don't even know how to reconcile it. It's one of the most difficult things, challenging things and burdening things of this reality, is that some of us can see and hear and feel and know and intuit, while the rest just keep harming themselves and each other in insanity. Right. So I believe folks like you, when you're brought here, it seems to me, are brought here for a reason, because you don't have anywhere, if many places to go, where you can do fellowship and you can experience true leadership and discernment and intuition and co-create with that, right? So you may have that and experience that, but you're not having that around you. What you are having around you is, hey, you're robbing, get in the jail. Hey, pay the slave tax, right? This thing is testing you and challenging you and seeing what you're made of, and then putting you and others in position with folks like me to go to the next level. Because as strange as it might sound, we're all seem to be, as they say, chosen people by this force, because we have the discernment and the will to keep going in what's true and what's right, while the rest of them have never seen the truth and what's right and have never stepped up to go past their fears into the test and the challenge and what seems like pain and suffering, right?
Yeah.
So I just see it that way, man, that your jail and everything else has literally been like an alchemical process of cooking off impurities and testing and challenging you and resolving you, right? Putting you into solution and then evaporating and resolving, right? That's what resolving means. It's an alchemical process. You got to be heated. You got to be tested and challenged, right? You have to get into that etheric mode, that spiritual mode, and then you got to recondense back down in the physical, right? And that's what this incarnation process is. I'm talking micro and macro holographic sort of simulation, if you will, right? As above, so below, as within, so without. So I believe all of us who find our way here, right, this is essentially the real version of church, if you will. The shit that we got growing up, that was nonsense. That's people in regalia doing false traditions, lying to their congregation, grifting for a bunch of money, and trying to get everybody deeper into a system. This is Holy Spirit, right? When you're in alignment with the truth, eternal truth, and you walk in faith, it calls in folks like myself, you, and other folks here to do the work the rest of them won't do. The kingdom of heaven is few. The gate is narrow, right? I'll steal one from Jay-Z, right? They say there's not many of us. I say less is more. There's plenty of us, right? So again, a group or a movement, if you will, an idea in consciousness and awareness is only as strong as its weakest link. So when folks come here and they tell me, well, you know, we're weaker as individuals, we're stronger in a group. Not necessarily, right? The strongest group is a group, non-group of individuals who come together to co-create and commune in the most high consciousness with faith, in trust and equity and surrender, right?
Yeah.
And there's no room for cowardice, and there's no room for deviance and deception. It's almost militant in a way. Right. And no, I'm not talking violence and physical force and the rest of it. I'm talking about the process and procedure to actualization, realization, and becoming in trustworthiness, honorability, and faith. What we've lost. This is what a coming of age story is. Right. This is what fulfillment, actualization, and realization is. This is what a man is supposed to be and has been, right? Strong men create good times. Weak men create hard times. We're in hard times and getting in harder times now, right? In some ways, it's the best of times, worst of times, you could argue, right? Some folks are having it easier in a way, or they're having more blessings come through, right? The meek shall inherit the earth. But for other folks, it's a very challenging and testing time.
Right.
You know, so I'm kind of like, I've turned the corner in a way. Not to say I'm not going to have more tests and challenges in my life, but I've almost solidified at my core this idea of honor and faith, to the point where I could not see myself as ever being ready, but now in this moment I feel like I'm as ready as I'll ever be. Right? So this thing, it can throw whatever at me, and I know what I'm here to do. It's called purposeful living, right? And that's again one of the things that we're lacking, I believe, as men and women in this day and age, is we got all the pleasure down, right? But we have forgotten how to live purposefully, right? Live with a purpose. So is any of this resonating with you? Does any of that make sense? Is it kind of far out wacky?
Because even like you said, it's like between good and evil and knowing what's right and keeping your faith. Like when I was in prison, you know, I'm not a natural born citizen. So they were saying, oh, we're going to deport you from this country. You're going to get 25 years. You're going to do all of this. But if you take this now, you could come home now. If you take this now, you could come home now. Or if you plead guilty to this, you could come home now. And it took me reaching a different level to say, no, this is not right. I did not do this. I'm innocent. And they cheated because people can say, oh, I didn't do it. But then if it's evidence supporting that person's statement and you sit there and destroy it, that's just further, bad. That's bad.
Yeah, they're trying to break your faith in God's will to get you to comply with the worldly system, just like they told the Christed being. It's all allegory. They took the Christed being in scripture on the hill, and the Shaitan said to him, I'll give you the whole kingdom and all the riches in it. Just say that we are your God and your ruler. He said, no, I cannot bend the knee, right? So this is what equity and honorability and trust and faith is all about, right? You had to learn it firsthand. Some people never learn it. So you got to see yourself as blessed in that sense, right? Even though oftentimes the blessings come wrapped in the things we want the least.
Yeah.
That's where you learn trust and faith and honorability, in those moments. Right. So in a way, as much as it could be from the dark side of the force, you are blessed as far as I see it, because you're 26 years old and you already have an understanding and a vision that I can't get motherfuckers who I came out of their nutsack, excuse me, to being triggering, right, and crude and rude and lewd. But I can't get my own father and motherfuckers twice my age to have a vision and a discernment and honorability and faith with what you just told me, and I got 10 years on you, right?
That's crazy. That's what I'm saying. It's like speaking into a void when you like you said chosen, when you've seen things for what it really is. It's like when you talk, it's like you speaking to yourself. But even right now, what I'm going through, I'm in federal court. I'm representing myself. I've never done this before, but it feels like I've been here before. It feels like.
Did you get a court date?
Huh?
Did they give you a court date yet, or you just filed the papers?
No. I've been fighting them in federal court now since 2022.
But did they give you a court date yet? I'm asking.
Yeah. I've been in court several times now.
You have at federal court. Okay, so then you're already involved in the process.
Yeah.
How is that going so far? Have you had a hearing yet?
It's eye-opening, because it's like the judge, he's like, oh, I wouldn't take $200 million to spend one night on Rikers Island, but I was 19 and I was forced to be there for 385 days. Like, I'm like,
sir, I don't, what you're telling me right now is basically, again, that, what you're telling me is, what I'm hearing is, well, regardless of what you're telling me, this is all I'm hearing, that God is somehow using you to put these people in check, like many of us, right? It's all it is, because what you just said there leads me to believe that the administrator, first of all, I filed at federal court. They wouldn't hear the matter because they said I didn't formulate the paperwork properly. You did your own paperwork?
Not really. I have found a lawyer to do it because I felt like I got to use, people that work with them. Like I got to use, just like using their own words against them, you got to use people who know their lingo. So I was able to find this guy, and I explained to him my situation. He was able to draft the papers, because when I first came home, I was messed up. Like, I had been tortured, held in solitary confinement, so I wasn't articulate like I am now. Let's just say it like that, to be simple. So I told him, he was able to formulate it, but as time has went on, I've become, I'm able to talk for myself. I'm able to represent myself, because I feel like these people, they don't care about my situation. They able to compartmentalize, the situation. They got a bunch of other people this is happening to. So for me,
absolutely.
this is my life.
But this is my point. This is my point. You got to see the bigger picture, right?
Right.
This thing is using folks like you and I to put this system back where it belongs. I respect and I get it, right? I can't deny, because I can't get them to hear the matter with paperwork. Although I've only tried once, I haven't been as diligent as I probably should be. But if you got to use what you got to use. The point is, you got to get this guy to give you everything he's doing. You got to get with him, this lawyer guy, because he's in it for this, right? He's gonna whoop them. He's gonna get a big bag. You're gonna get a big bag. That's great, but you got to see the bigger picture. That you got, especially, and I'm not trying to do the racial thing, because it's all people, but to appeal to, right, the folks out there who do colorism, if that's necessary. I'll do what's necessary to get it done, is my point. I don't agree with colorism, but you got a ton of black folks, we'll put it that way, sitting behind a wall with nobody who gives a fuck about them. And because their family ain't got no money or don't give a fuck about them, they just rot there. Okay? So the bottom line is, I'm not telling you what you got to do, but I'm telling you what you got to do from my perspective, right? If I'm you, because I am you again, on some level, you gotta get with this guy and get every piece of the process of what he's doing. Because we over here, we got it down, a lot of us. I got people with me. We get dismissals. We're good on the supposed defensive side, right? With court, we know how to invoke the common law and God and faith and trust and equity and the maxims of law. We know how to not consent to being governed by policy and code, because law is not code. We know how to present ourselves, right? We don't say over here represent. It's you present yourself. You can't represent yourself as anything unless you're going to be that person, that all caps entity on that paperwork, right? So we're that crowd that they'll call the Sav Sits, because over here, right, when I say we, it's the royal we, I have come to an understanding that there's 2 states on every state. There's the state of, right, Colorado, or state of New York, and then there's New York State, right? So there's a state of resident, there's a state citizen, and then there's United States citizen. So there's at least 3 statuses on record with U.S. code, and other sort of law dictionaries and codification. So you got to look more into what the Moors are doing. They're specifically an African group who they uphold the law, they uphold natural rights, right? And it's culturally it's an African thing, right? But it's all the same. Right, like if you hear us at court, we're going to have the same lingo at times and the same understanding, because we've studied the same material. We all have access to the same material, right? And the same intrinsic common sense understanding. Turns out the more you study this stuff and you get the real deal, it comports with common sense. You go, oh, that makes sense, right? When we boil it all down and we get down to what it really is. So again, you got to get with this guy. You got to say, hey, bro, I know you're going to get a big bag, and that's great for you, and so am I, because they did absolutely wrong. The administrator you said already said he wouldn't pay $200 million. He wouldn't take $200 million to stay on Rikers for one night. So you already got him in the bag. The bigger picture here, what you need to get is how is he filing the paperwork? Get copies of everything. Get everything this guy's doing and filling out.
Got rid of him. I've been got rid of him because he went in there and he wasn't advocating. He wasn't like he was ready. That's why I'm saying I can't really trust them, because at the end of the day, they agents of the state. They have to go back to the state to research.
So okay, so you're telling me that it could go either way, right?
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is you had this guy in there. It's a slam dunk case. What was he doing or not doing that kind of put you?
They gaslighting me. Every lawyer I get, they try to minimize, what I experienced. Like, and I can't stand for it, because it's like, You wasn't there every single day. They always try to minimize it. Oh, it was only a year. Look at this person that did 20 years. What make you so special? So I told them, just because you didn't take 20 years of my life, meaning that what you did to me wasn't as horrendous.
So what's their point with that statement? Oh, we're only going to get you X amount of money?
Yeah, because you only.
And what amount are they telling you? I got to hear this.
Saying. They offered me 5,000. If I could show you it.
No. Yeah, no. I'm going full Charleston White. Yeah. No. I'm going full Charleston White. You got to be kidding me, bro. This is what this is the type of shit I'm going to go full leftist and go, this system's racist. I'm going to start going like those white women. The fat white women with the blue hair, where I go, I'm going to wind up turning into one of those right here, right now. It's not only that New York is completely corrupt, it's that they're racist, slimy motherfuckers. And they go, tell this guy we'll give him 5,000. He's black. He'll take it. He's desperate, right?
Exactly
that's their fucking game. Dude, they just gave somebody 40 grand for 5-minute detainment. I got a guy, Mitchell, here. The kid sat for 1 day in the jail. They gave him 70,000.
Look at the lady. Look at the case with Donald Trump and the lady, right? The lady said, "Oh, Donald Trump raped me." Donald Trump say, "I didn't." Donald Trump had to pay.
Yeah, they just don't want this fucking county to look the way that they are, and they want you to go away without having to tap their pockets. As broken hoses they are, they don't want to get checked and have their pockets tapped. And that's, it's not about the money, man. It's not about the money. It's the fact that they're bullshitting you. And they're trying to fucking take you for a fool and someone who's desperate for the money. Yep. Yeah, so at that point I go, listen, I ain't in this for the money anyway. This is about the principle. You better come with a big bag to show what's true and what's right, or I'm going to drag this the fuck out forever. We could keep coming back, and I'm going to put you on the hot seat.
I'm not somebody who you stole 20 years from. I'm still young. I will fight you because I should have been in jail right now. If I wasn't,
it's not even about fighting. It's just about the principle.
Yeah,
it's just about the principle.
If I didn't have, like you said, if I didn't have faith, God, discernment, all these things, I would have still been in jail. So the fact that I'm even here talking to you now in this courtroom, and when you come to court, you usually throwing away people in prison for 25 years. Look at
that place is, I'm not going to start doing the whole you're a victim and you suffered and all the rest of it. In my world, bro, I just got to be clear with you. In my world, I got about 5 cases at this point that they dismissed all the charges and the warrants and everything. I never went to court because I never signed anything. I don't put myself in contract, so they can't move anything legitimately. And they know that at some point that I'm going to be in that position where if I push the issue, we're all going to be at court and they're going to have to pay out. But I'm not motivated by money, bro. I'm doing this off of what's true and correct and the faith and to learn process and procedure and how to uphold rights and the law at court, right? If something comes out of it, right? If we ever go to jury trial on the other end where I'm prosecuting and the jury wants to make up a determination, that's the route I'd go. I'd ask them for a jury trial. I'd bring in a jury. I'd put the case law before them. I'd put 15 decisions before them over the past month where somebody got $10 million, and I'd put $1 on the paper, and I'd say, it ain't about the money. Go ahead, 12 United States citizen slaves. Go ahead and make a ruling right now on what the fuck my year of my life is worth, right? And I tell them, and I make it real good, right? And I put it in their face, too. I'm one of those guys. I go in there and I go ahead, guys. How much is this black kid's a year of his life worth, right? He's a fucking low life, right? What's it worth? 5,000?
That's exactly
Yeah. Put it right in their fucking face and make them sit with the fucking karma and really, really drink it in, right? So I bring in 12 citizens. I put before them that the last 10 people got $1 million fucking dollars for a week in jail, whatever the fuck it is. And I say, it ain't about the money. Let's go. Let's do justice here today. Show us all what you're about. What do you think it's worth? And I let them decide. I let the 12 of them get in the room with the scumbag attorney on the other side trying to influence them, right? Because you got to watch them. They'll let people get in the room and try to influence them or do it in the open court, right?
Exactly.
Bring them in. Let them decide. At the end of the day, I guess you can always do retrial. No, you can always. There's always another option, man. I can't tell you.
I tell them even if they do that, it's not gonna work because I'm like, God didn't bring me this far now for the enemy to laugh at me. That's why I'm like, I just keep going. That's why I keep going, because I'm like, ain't no way for all of that he could have just left me in prison. For all of that,
we gotta. There's got to be some folks here who are going to watch this broadcast who have some connections with folks on New York, either ACLU, civil rights, quote unquote lawyer, somebody who's got some fucking soul left in them, you know, some heart, some mind, some balls, all going in the same direction. Would you please email me? I'm going to go ahead and take a shot here, right, on some synchronicity and some faith, right? We'll do like the preachers do, the fake prosperity preachers. I got a vibe out there that there's someone potentially who could work with this case and take it somewhere and put it on record, right, and get us some more information about what we need to do to uphold the law of this land and rights, freedom, and principles and spiritual faith. And if you're out there and you're not a complete fucking slime scum, right, maybe you just reach out to me and you email me and you get together with this young gentleman and you get yourself a big fucking bag, because I know that's all that matters to a lot of you motherfuckers, is that you're going to make another 50 or 100,000 so you can go buy another goofy car, right? And then maybe the other half of you says, I should just once in my life do what the fuck is true and what's right, if not consistently, you know, maybe here and there decide to, like, you know, get out on the ledge, you know, put yourself out on a limb for what's true and what's right. Like as if a lot of you inauthentic corporate males would want to sit in fucking Rikers Island for a year like this kid did off a false fucking charge. Do you know what kind of trust and faith and equity that you have to develop in there to avoid becoming a gangland scum and wind up harming yourself and everyone else? So if there's anyone you're going to do it for, I would think, or do it with, I would think it would be a gentleman like this. So I'll just leave it at that. We'll see what comes of it, if anything. If not, you're going to get more experience.
Even the articles you're reading, it took me 7 years for them to tell the truth finally on these articles. People look up these articles, but they don't know how much work, how much phone calls, how much on these people I had to, because the first article, if you read it, they made it seem like it was a mistaken identification. Like, oh, the cops did nothing wrong. The DA did nothing wrong. Boom. That was it. Mistaken identification. They even
so they're saying that, so they're already in the articles trying to do the you know, the tamper down campaign where they go, well, everything's in settlement. So you never went to trial, right?
I did.
You did? They brought in a jury?
That's what I'm saying. They forced me to a jury trial.
So they brought in 12 people.
Yes.
And did they make a determination about what they all got together, the 12 people, and said that they believe 5,000 is enough, or is that what the other side is offering you?
That's something the city was saying, but I'm saying as far as my criminal trial, they brought in the jury, and the jury heard all the evidence, and it literally took them 15 minutes. Like, we literally went to lunch, came back, and it was like not guilty, acquitted of all charges. And now their biggest thing the city is saying is, oh, they just couldn't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. Oh, I'm like, I had the presumption of innocence. So if now a jury of my peers felt that I didn't do it, how is that? Oh, they just couldn't prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt.
Right, but just to be clear, I'm talking specifically, did you go to trial in the federal case where you're
they're delaying it. That's what I'm saying. They're delaying it.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. You went to they held you for a year in Rikers. You went to trial, and 15 minutes they said this is ridiculous, not guilty. It's a slam dunk. But now in federal court, they want to hold you up. They want to be in settlement negotiations. They want to do pre-trial. No. I push it.
Negotiations.
No. Of course they do.
Right now would take $5,000.
Yeah. They want to go back to their friends back there and say that dumb N-word took $5,000 when he had a fucking $10 million case. I'd push it to fucking trial. I'd make a jury come in. I'd make them decide what they think is appropriate for compensation. And they're going to say, unless they're completely rigged, they're going to say, you did what? You offered him $5,000 for a year in Rikers? It's just like being on Alcatraz.
That's what I'm saying. I wish I could show you it right now. I got that in writing.
Oh, I already know, bro. I already know. This ain't there. And it's
delivered. Like my life is worth $12 a day. $12 a day of being tortured, solitary confinement, denied my food, denied my family.
Listen, bro, it's about what we all let them get away with, like anything else. right? Like the founder said, what level of tyranny will these folks go to? Whatever level you let them.
I ain't letting them get away with this.
I bring them right to trial, bring in the 12 white people, say 12 white people. We go like Family Feud. 12 white people. We're going to go to the board. Top 10 answers on the board. How much would you take to spend a year in Rikers Island? Give me your top 10 answers, right? And I want to hear it from them. You know, do you think 5,000 is good enough? And they're going to go, oh my God, no. Wow, 20 million, 50 million? Because again, it's not even about the money. It's the fact that they're trying to fucking play you.
Right.
And they don't want to go to trial because they know when they go to trial, they're going to get whooped. And that jury's going to say, you better give this guy the whole county. Forget about money. He owns the county now.
They should have, and you know what's sad? Because here it was, they was trying to convict me, talk about, oh, I'm such a dirty person. I don't even have money to buy food. That was the reason why I did this. It wasn't no drug habit. He just didn't have money to buy food. All these lies and accusations. And then just for me to prove my innocence, and then it comes out the cops framed me, destroyed evidence that showed my innocence, and none of them is charged.
Right. So on top of all the other punitive damages and the time spent, you got defamation and mischaracterization. They've now made you to look in the public like you're a poor, broke, robbing scum with no ethics and morals, which could affect your future and your career.
The New York Daily News, which is like the Times, they call me
it really is sickening.
They call me an immigrant. If you go back on
yeah, that's great.
New York City immigrant slams cops for 11 months spent in jail. They don't even tell the truth. They just chopping, whitewashing everything.
Yeah, it's like the immigrants are angels when they want to suck them dry for liabilities, right? When they want to give them numbers and false names so they can make a bunch of money off them, till they want to frame you up for something you didn't do. Then you're the worst thing ever. What are you doing here? Go home, scumbag, right? That's always their game.
Oh, we're gonna take your citizenship, or you could, if you plead guilty. What would my life have even been like if I would have pled guilty? I wouldn't have been able to work. I wouldn't have been able to do anything. Yeah, I would have been temporarily free, but I still would have been a slave. I'm still a slave now. So if freedom is like more than just being free, is financial, everything, spiritually, everything. Freedom is not just, oh yeah, walking around and this and that. You got to be free. You got to take these chains off and be. I don't want to be a slave to these corporations.
Well, hey, listen, bro, if I'm you, I start again, I start putting the word out like I just did. Get on the ACLU website, write them an email, tell them it's highly publicized, that there's big money in this, and more importantly, they got to do what's true and what's right.
I got people like Reverend Al Sharpton watching me.
Oh, please. That guy's a fucking low-life scumbag.
Yeah, all these
people. That guy is a race pimp. They just want to get behind anything that's got a black face on it so they can push themselves and keep themselves relevant in the conversation. So them motherfuckers 9 out of 10 times ain't looking to do nothing for it with you, right? They just want to keep themselves relevant by race pimping. We got bad stuff happening to black people, right? Yeah, but what the fuck are you really doing about it?
Nothing.
Other than being the face and the mouthpiece, right? They hop out the limo, do the speech, and then get back in.
That's what I'm saying. Right now, they see me going through the situation, and they think like, oh yeah, they never gonna meet me, so oh yeah, I could just watch him all day. I could just plot on him and stuff like that. I told him, I'm like, y'all watch me every day. Y'all gonna see me soon. Y'all gonna see me real soon, and y'all gonna be packing y'all bags and being evicted. Because y'all the people that is acting like y'all speak for all of us out here, and then when y'all see us going through something, y'all don't got nothing to say. But y'all
you got anybody in your corner? You got anybody in your corner who's not going nowhere, who's loyal, right, from day one, so to speak? You got like brothers, cousins, somebody?
Yeah, I got my fiance, I got my 2 kids. Know what I mean? Like even right now.
Well, you need to put me in contact with them indirectly, if nothing else, or you need to give them this place because we need to make sure that nothing happens to you.
Thank you.
In case these motherfuckers get, they get worried about whatever. You never know, bro. I don't like to live in fear. I like to live in faith, but
I'll be feeling the same way. That's why I'm so active in what I'm doing now. That's why even when I joined your live, I commented. I try to talk to as much people as possible about this situation because I know where my mind and my heart is telling me to do, but I also want people to know because this is a government. These are people who don't care. They will assassinate you and blame it on something else. Like they don't
It's been
care
known
about
to
nothing.
happen. We all have stories who've lived on New York about people who, take a trip down the elevator shaft and don't come back.
Right.
Shit happens. But yeah, that's why too, again, the more publicized that this stuff is, the more it's out in the open. In a way, you could argue the more difficult it is for them to make a move out of bounds without them putting themselves more on radar. So
Exactly. That was
yeah,
my
you ain't
too.
looking to hurt yourself. You ain't depressed. You ain't suicidal. And you ain't involved in no criminal activity. Is what
Exactly.
I'm guessing, right?
I was a law-abiding citizen. I was everything. Oh, don't do this. Don't hurt nobody. Follow. I read the Bible, so I know the 10 Commandments, where it's like, don't hurt nobody. Don't do something to somebody else you wouldn't want done to you.
Right.
So that's the type of life I was living. Like, and these people just come out of nowhere. It's like they seen the things I was about to do, and they like, oh, let's try to fuck it up. Let's try to mess it up for
Yeah,
him.
it could be that way. But also, too, you got to remember, like I said earlier, that believe it or not, this thing is our greatest teacher and tester because it forces us to test our faith and trust in God and understand that God is preparing something for us long term if we can meet the tests and challenges head on, right, and go past the fear. So that's what I've learned to go with, right? So yeah, it could be a test and a challenge because again, blessed are those who are prosecuted or persecuted, for theirs the kingdom of heaven unrighteously, right? It wasn't like you did wrong somewhere, and they're prosecuting and persecuting you unrighteously. So oftentimes, something is being prepared to you here or hereafter, or both, right? So I would just choose to look at it that way. That's the way I've chosen to look at it, and there seems to be something to it, right?
Yeah.
Separates the men from the boys, those who are honorable and faithful and disciplined and willful, who are in this for the long haul, versus those who are just going to sell themselves out to be comfortable, right? Or to not have to go past the fear and live in faith. So yeah, man, I would just keep doing what you're doing. I would keep studying more and more the law, right? Come here more and more if you're open to it. If you get something here, we can do more talk about legal versus lawful, how to present oneself at court. We can go over videos of other folks who present at court. More specifically, probably the African Moors. It's probably more up your alley.
I've definitely studied them too. The Moors, I've started reading up on them. But that's what I'm saying. When I was in Africa, I wasn't exposed to this much like knowledge, this much information. So being that I'm here now, that's why I feel like it was a good thing that I came here so I could learn, so I could educate, and then try to make a difference. Because it's like in Africa, I wasn't learning about. I didn't know nothing that was going on here until I came here, and God brought me here and I experienced it, and now my testimony is what it is. Like this is how things are. This is how, and we the only ones that can fix it. We the only ones.
Well, that's it. No, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm just agreeing with you that's it. At the end of the day, we got to be the change.
Gatekeepers of our own destiny at the end of the day. So we just gotta focus in on that and suppress all the gaslighting, because this world is just filled with people that's gonna try to gaslight you and tell you, oh, your pain isn't what it is. It's not as severe as it seems. Oh, you can't bring emotion into this. You got to leave emotion at the door. No, I'm a human.
You know what
being.
else they're gonna tell you? The retarded slaves who can't figure out what the rest of us are actually engaged in here, upholding the law, exercising rights, having to get the courts to recognize man and woman and rights and personal choice and lawful process instead of legal process. They'll tell you, just vote, Victor. Just vote again for another billionaire corrupt politician who gets the laws rewritten in his favor. What do you think would have happened to Victor if he had 34 felonies? You fuck slaves.
No.
He didn't even do anything, and they put his black ass in jail for a year, specifically because a lot of them are racist, corrupt motherfuckers. Let's be real about it. Exactly. What do you think they'd have done to Victor if they charged him with 34 fucking felonies like they did Donnie and he was convicted? You'd never fucking see him again.
That's what I'm
saying.
Is
the bottom line, right?
You should have seen the charges. It was just when they seen that this wasn't going their way, they started eliminating charges. But my original count sheet was longer than Donald Trump's. It was longer than his. They was talking to the feds. They was talking to the FBI's. Like once the FBI seen that I had defeated them on the state level, the FBI backed off from me. The FBI didn't want no other embarrassment like that, so they just left it alone. But the FBI went in my phone, saw that I wasn't even at the scene of these robberies I was being charged with, and they just all kept it to themselves, just trying to see what the jury was gonna say. Like, because sometimes you will get a jury like that will, believe the cop word over an innocent person. Juries, it happens all the time. People do 40 years, and then they say, oh yeah, they didn't do nothing wrong, or they innocent. Like, so it was just they just thought my life was a game because I was innocent. They had the evidence, and they just let it go on as it did. That's why I'm saying the jury could have came back and be like, oh, yeah, we believe everything they said 20 years. They wasn't going to give me probation. It wasn't going to be, oh, yeah, you coming home today, probation, time served. No. If that jury would have found me guilty, that judge would have been looking to give me some type of 15, 20 years because look at everything you already allowed without dismissing the case. And they talk about, oh, yeah, judges, cops should have absolute immunity.
Yeah, that's nonsense. Nobody has any immunity here, not only karmically, but legally and lawfully, right? They'd love that to be the case. All these corporate males, that's why they like LLCs, limited liability corporations. They don't want the liability of all their corrupt wrongdoings and misdeeds. Well, life doesn't work that way. Newsflash. There's something called karma here. You get what the fuck you give. I don't care if it takes 1,000 years for it to fucking come forth. In 10 lifetimes. You get what you give here, one way or the other. And here's another clue. When it comes to the law of the land, any man or woman acting as an agent of government or an official who misuses or abuses their official position is 10 times more liable because they swore an oath to the Constitution and the contract and to God to be a servant, a man and woman, to protect and uphold the law and rights. You want to get in a costume and think you got less liability? You got more, turns out. And we're going to show that to you. You folks are going to learn that.
No way I should be dragging me, my kids, my family down to federal court every time I have to make an appearance, and they at home living their lives with their family, benefiting off the pension.
No, they're going to learn it, sir. The feds are investigating police. They're arresting them. I cover it here. Many of them are getting their uniforms cut off of them, and they're going to federal prison. So don't you worry. We're not vengeful and retributive people. We don't necessarily want what's been done to us done to others. But if you're going to create a system and say it's about justice and say that it's about right from wrong and doing crime or not, well, then when you do crime in uniform, especially, you're going to fucking jail.
Exactly.
It's that simple.
It's not about retribution. It's not about hatred because nothing they do can undo this to me.
They need to be separated from the society because they're a danger to themselves and others. They're wanton. They're out of control. They're tyrannical. They're treasonous. They're literally the on-the-ground undoing of everything good and great on this land. While the tards in my chat still that I baited in here today so I could hit them over the head with the truth, they're going to vote for a fucking 80-year-old billionaire working with the state of Israel and Henry Kissinger and centralized bankers who says he wants to give the police more power. You fucking retards.
That's why he had nothing to say on that stage. Oh, if they do good and mistakes and all of that. Like, I'm like, bro, you can't give people like that. Look at what they doing to you. You see it yourself. You being if what you're saying is true, or they're targeting you politically and all of this, that should give you more reason to try to eliminate their so-called immunity. But for you to still be promoting it is like you saying what they doing is right to you too.
This is the issue of our time. We've all lost on some level our natural rights. We've all lost on some level our power to choose. We're all being governed on a plantation by statute, policy, and code, and the majority don't know and don't care to know the damn law of the universe and the law of the land. And it's causing everything to get worse and go down the drain while they vote for two sides of the same coin to continue the insanity. It's not going to work, people. The only way out of this is in it and through it. You're going to have to get on the field. You're going to have to uphold the law, exercise your rights, show up at court from time to time, be part of a fucking community, be part of shared value systems and principles. I know you all wanted the easy way. That's never worked. I get it. It's just we got to start to update the program here and understand what this life and this land is really about. Because it's becoming really pathetic and embarrassing, and that's okay. Because the minority of us, the few of us, like they like to say at your devil worshipping servants who do wars around the world for profit, we're the true few, the proud, the Marines, like they say. We're the true patriots, the few, the proud, the meek. We shall inherit the earth. We're doing what's true and what's right on the ground, while you vote for billionaires to only talk that shit but not walk that shit. That's the problem.
That's what I told him. I was like, I'm voting for myself this year. I'm putting my own name on that ballot because at the end of the day, none of these people have shown me that they care about me or anybody that look like me. They don't care.
Or it's not even about who looks like you. What's true and what's right.
Yeah.
This is colorless. It's color aside. This is a character and a culture issue. None of them know the law or don't want to reveal the law or uphold the law. Right? None of them want to.
They want to castrate us.
Well, that's it. Donnie said get the shot. Did you take the shot, sir? I have to know. I'm sorry. I'm doing a lot of talking here. Did you? He got disconnected. Okay, I'm sure he'll come back. I have to know. Did he get the treatments from the last 4 years? Did they dupe him into getting that? Telling him all the black people are really unhealthy and at risk. They need double the boosts to keep them safe. Right? That's how the white people in politics, that's how the white central bankers like Billy say, we love black people. We want to keep them safe. They got to get more boosters. Did you get the treatments from the last 4 years, sir?
You said what?
Did you get the treatments for safety from the last 4 years that they told everybody we had to get because we had to be scared about what was in the air?
Yeah.
You did? Oh my God.
Yeah,
okay.
I got it.
Oh,
man,
man.
that's what I'm saying. I believe in God. You heard? They can't kill me with anything. They can
right, but why would you take if you believe in God and what's supernatural? Why would you take their concoctions?
I just did it.
They tricked you. Okay, you know it is what it. I can't judge you, bro. I just
tricked. Maybe I was tricked, but I'm just glad. I'm not messed up right now. I'm still me.
Yeah. I mean, you know, God willing, that everything will turn out okay. But it's just disheartening to me when I hear so many folks who have some discernment, intuition, just are tricked and duped out of their power and position to take these remedies and to just go along with what everyone else is doing. But I guess we live and we learn, right?
Yeah, that's exactly. And it shows that I'm only human. Like, you know, I'm gonna, you know, make mistakes. I'm gonna, you know, learn from my mistakes. That's what humans do. Like, I'm not no alien or something like that where I'm supposed to, all right, yeah, I know that for a fact that's a bad thing. Nah, but
all right, so I'm dropping the link. Come on up because we got a lot of folks stirring in chat. This Paul guy is a complete moron. If you're not a coward, right, which I'm sure you are, most folks are nowadays, the general public, bunch of cowards. If you're not a coward, right, and you're a faithful, honorable person, and you're intelligent, feel free to come on up. The link is there, and tell me why I am a moron. Because I would bet you're going to be a very intelligent, co-creative, well-spoken, faithful person, right? That's usually what we get when we survey the public. All the voting, tax-paying slaves, right? They're usually well-spoken, intelligent, honorable, faithful people. So come on up. Tell me how I'm the moron here in this interaction and how you're the honorable, faithful, intelligent being. I love it. Wait till you see what happens, Victor, if they get up here. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. Your masters know, too. They know, right?
They're going to join up.
Yeah, not your masters, but their masters know, too. Like, they understand the game. They go, come on up. Come to the podium. You're going to vote again in 4 years. Tell us all about who and what you are, and then make your false choice, right? So it's always the same.
They say the vote didn't even count. Wasn't the electoral college or somebody else that picked the president?
Well, yeah, that's always there we go. You're dumb. Ryan Bruda says, you're dumb, right? That goes for you too. Drop the link again. Come on up and tell me how I'm dumb and you're intelligent. I love to get interactions with the general public where they expose me and prove me wrong. Prove that I'm a big dummy. Jefferson, what do you got? How can I help you?
A lot of fuck slaves out today, Paul.
Right. We're back in the algo again. It's only been 1.5 years, 2 years of shadow banning, but we're back in the algo. We're getting folks triggered. We're picking up 200 to 300 subscribers a day, and we're spreading the word, right? About, truth, rights, freedom, principles, spiritual faith, the difference between legal versus lawful, private versus public, being an American on the nation, right? A man on the land with natural rights versus a United States citizen, tax-paying, warmongering, voting for billionaires to trick you out of your rights and principles and freedoms, slave, right? That's just what this is. It's what it's become. So we're having fun.
Yeah, citizen slave. I mean, do they not get with the lingo yet?
Right. They'll get it. They'll figure it out.
They'll get it.
All right. We got some feedback here. Is that you, Victor? I don't know. Let me see. Test. That's you, Jefferson. You got to get a headset. Feeding back. All right. Let's go to some docket here. How about me and Mr. Lawcock? Flash to the past. What's that now? Is that you? Oh, no, that's you. You're feeding back, Victor.
Oh, that's
Everybody's
me.
feeding back.
How
We got to
can
get
I
a
fix
headset.
it?
You got to get a headset if you can. Okay, get some earbuds if you can. Hey, let's do this right now. You know what? It just kind of occurred to me. Do you have any kind of slave app for like extended friends and family, gifts, contributions, shit like that?
Like what? Like Facebook?
Like Cash App. I call it slave app, but Cash App, Slave Pal, PayPal, anything where friends, family, audience members can contribute support. Give me two fingers, Lamar.
I got a GoFundMe.
Okay.
GoFundMe, and I got a Cash App too. All
right, put your Cash App in the name, man, because on some level, I'm not going to turn you into a victim, but I know that here at times the audience is good people. They like to contribute and support folks. It's just that's what community is on some level. So they've been good to me at times. Extended friends and family gifts, non-taxable contributions. So if you want to, go ahead, put your Cash App in the name, where it says Victor. This way, some folks from the audience, if they see you as good people and they want to contribute to you, support you, since the state of New York, who put you in Rikers Island for a year, wants to offer you $5,000 for your time, energy, and attention. That's apparently what I'm not going to continue with the black thing because I'm doing it to trigger and to make people feel guilty about their sickness. But that's what a young Negro's life is worth, right? Fuck it. Let's go ahead. Let's gamble a little bit, right? Let's trigger. That's what a young Negro's life is worth is 5,000. Yeah. We're back to fucking like 1750. We're back to slave days where we take young Negro, we put him in a hole with mold and genocide and sickness and slavery for a year, and then we bring them out. We say, "Boy, we're going to offer you $5,000. How do you feel about that?" Right?
Oh, and
since they want to do that,
McDonald's in the last year.
yeah, right. This is where we're at. So since they want to do that, and they want to like shit on everybody's intelligence and try to make everyone, like they want to make certain people victims when it's convenient for them, and they want to ignore victimization when it's not convenient. Right? That's the democratic system. Black folks are all victims. They can't succeed. Give us more money so we can buy houses and pretend to care for them. Then when you put them away wrongfully for a year, hey, it's $5,000. And by the way, just sign this paper so it never gets out and the county doesn't look like the frauds and the scum that they are. So we will open it up. He's got it down there. Slave app, Cash App, sign Infinity, 1997. If folks want to contribute and support to this man, I think that he's an intelligent, inspiring young man. I think that he's good faith and honorable. I think that he's been put through his tests and challenges. And I think that God is going to prepare something for him, reward him, bless him. And the people are going to be part of that process as well. I have a feeling. Right. So that's why I'm doing that, because I've seen it in my life and I know it's true for others.
I mean, I'm helping, but I can't, like, say when I was in that situation, my mom, she's from Africa, so she ain't know about any of this. She ain't know about bail money and all that. These people was calling big money for bail. Like for somebody who's innocent, never been convicted of a crime, you want $100,000 for my mom who's making $6.50 an hour. Oh,
Yeah,
you
well,
don't
they're
want.
absolute scum. So, I mean, there's times here where, it's not about using the community, but it's making available certain options for folks who come here who I believe in and I think are good people and I think could benefit from, some support in certain ways. Why the hell not? It's been good with me because I've been good with it. And if we're all here for the same reason, the same purpose, then we're indirectly part of the same thing, right? We're sort of kindred spirits. So let me address Lamar, man. Lamar, what can I do for you, sir? How can I help you? Questions, comments,
how you doing,
concerns,
man?
grievances?
Yeah, I just want to. Could you give me like a quick synopsis of like your ideology? I just came across you and you seem interesting. I think we kind of share similar views, but just give me a quick, recap of some of your views and what your stances are, man, and then I'll just comment after that.
Right. So the core of what this all started as and what it continues as is the observance to and the awareness of what we call a godly experience that extends to rights, freedom, principles, spiritual faith, communion, community, the idea of co-creating and shared values and principles to create a better self and therefore a better world, right? Pretty simple, archetypal stuff, objectively logical, moral, ethical, right? It's pretty much the long and short of it.
Okay, yeah, man, I'm on the same path, and like I said, I just feel like I'm just glad a lot of younger people are waking up. I'm a little older than you, but I'm glad to see young brothers and sisters seeing the nonsense and seeing these demons that we call our leaders. And the one thing that I always ask people, I'm like, why in 2024 do you even still feel you need a president or you need a governor or you need a mayor or you need somebody to rule over you? You know what I mean? Like we got tricked a long time into letting man rule man, and you see what's happening now. Like look at the FBI, man. The FBI literally said that Epstein client list, those guys deserve their privacy. You know what I mean? But if you get it, but if I park my truck wrong, I'll get booted. I'll have to see a judge. If I don't, child support, you a ticket, anything, man, they gonna come after you. But these demons that we pay our money so they can arm people in the event they want to kill us, they'll come and kill us. And it's like foolishness. And right now I'm going around with the IRS, and I told them I'm tired of giving you my money so that you can build bombs and blow people up. I'm tired of giving you my money so that you can protect pedophiles. I'm tired of giving you my money.
You got another Unslavian here, man. This thing is like it's right on time here, right? We're on God's timing here somehow, some way. So 2 years.
I told him, man. Yeah, and I told him. I said, look, I'll deal with my accountant or whatever, but you're not gonna touch me. If you want to send your agents to try to kidnap me, I'll consider you trying to kidnap me, and I'll defend myself to the best of my abilities, regardless of the outcome of that. And it's just like people got to wake up, man. These people are demons. Hollywood has us thinking that demons have long teeth and claws and wings. Demons have suits. They have $200 haircuts, and they have Democrat and Republican, on their vestige, man. So we as a people have to stand up against these people, man. We got to stand up, and be righteous. And see, the thing about it is human trafficking makes more money than anything on earth. It makes $150 billion a year. Now,
sir, I got to stop you right there because I'm totally with you. Let's just give the whole story, which is all of statute, policy, and code giving every man and woman a number and then all caps name and trying to tax everybody's wages is the biggest human trafficking scam we've seen in the modern day world. They literally have every single person with a fake name and number attached to them, trafficking them essentially by their own will in Stockholm syndrome. But please continue.
Yeah, so and I see you 100% right. But what I'm talking about is like them selling children to these politicians and selling women and selling people all around the world. So it makes $150 billion, right? The NBA makes about $10-20 billion a year. Look at all of the people that are involved in the NBA making $20 billion a year. So how many of these people are involved in human trafficking. As far as what I'm talking about, the sex slavery and the child, sacrifice and all that stuff, man. So basically, all I'm saying is I'm tired of supporting demons because I'm aiding and abetting demons, and my soul just it don't sit right with me, man, because it's just like I know what the CIA is doing. I know that like the NSA, they're recording this right now, they're recording everything. So if the NSA is recording all communications, that means they know who's selling children. They know who's buying children, and they doing nothing about it. So they are complicit in it. But my tax dollars is going so that they can do that. And I'm tired of doing it, man. It's just like I'm tired of dealing with demons and paying them and then being fearful of what the demons have to say, man. It's like we got to stand up against these demons.
You got to opt out.
Yeah.
Got to opt out. And here's the bottom line.
Right now.
That's here's the bottom line.
Yeah.
When it comes to the human trafficking situation, a big reason why this is all happening is the same reason what I just said is true, because you got a bunch of grown people who are branding like cattle their own youngsters and sending them out into the world and into these institutions and to these events to be trafficked. Right. They're the perfect whores and whore makers of Babylon. Right? Just
so you got to look at it.
Putting their kids on all the pharmaceuticals, giving them all the brand names, giving them all the idols to worship, sending them off to the institutions, and you wonder why they wind up in slavery and genocide more than the rest of us in the corporatized world. Go ahead, sir.
And see, people, I'm a black man, I'm 49, and people don't believe me when I say I've never seen LeBron James play basketball. I've never seen Kobe Bryant play basketball because I realized how filthy Hollywood and athletics was 20, 30 years ago. So I stopped watching TV and sports decades ago, man. And look at the music that they push in the black community. Death, destruction, drugs, murder, hate, envy. They do that because people don't realize music is a form of hypnosis. So if you listen to trash all day, that's how they hypnotize you. If you listen to the radio all day, that's how they hypnotize. If you watch TV, are you sick? Do you need this pill? Do you have this? Do you have that? So people are under a constant hypnosis and they don't realize it. You don't know you hypnotize. That's why you hypnotize. So, man, as we just got to stand up, we got to be vigilant, and we got to confront these demons. Like I'll tell you, man, I've called the FBI and I told them how trash they are. I've called
This is so great. Okay. You're now my new co-host. Just so you know, this is how it happens here, right? When we're in alignment, we got to know it and feel it. You're my new co-host, along with Timmy here. He was my co-host, but I'm now replacing him potentially even. Timmy, you were a good Jew, but you're out, okay? This guy's a wartime consigliere, right? He's black. He's fucking ready to die like Tupac and Biggie when they did them last albums. He's got that look in his eye, and he's doing the same thing I'm doing. He called up the damn FBI. He was like, bro, I tell him here all the time. I go, I called him up. I told him, you better get on your shit. You better investigate these states and locals with their human trafficking, as you put it, using policy and code, taking everybody's property and rights and bringing humans to a fucking box to do free labor. You better investigate it. He said he called them up to tell them how trash they are. Continue. I love it.
The United Nations. I wrote the United Nations. They didn't respond to me yet.
Well, they don't need to respond. We're all getting them all on record and giving them notice about who and what we are as a spirit first, right? This goes beyond the flesh. We're getting them all on record with notice of who and what we are and what time it is, like they say on the street. You're going to learn what time it is.
I just want to say one thing, man. You said like we ready to die like Tupac and Biggie. See, the thing is, we're not going to see death because we're divinely protected. I'm not going to see death. You're not going to see death. And none of the patriots and none of the people who stand up against these monsters are going to see death because we have our footsteps are divinely guided, man. I've had guys put guns to my head and pull the trigger and the clip fall out the gun. I've had guys try to stump me out, 7 dudes. And, I just had like a bloody nose. You know what I mean? So I've stood against demons my whole life. But at this point in history, man, we either have to put up or shut up. And, I'm putting up. And like I told, the Irish, I told them, I said, I'm sick and tired of aiding and abetting you demons. I'm sick and tired of giving my money to a government who is just full of, you got good people in there, but the good people are too afraid to lose their jobs. They're too afraid to lose their pensions. They're too afraid to lose. So they won't say anything. But we as a people, man, we got to start calling them out and we got to start letting them know, it's over with, man. You know what I mean? We got to, stop slaughtering, stop with the slaughter. If you want to, okay, put it like this. If you want to take my taxes so you can go to Europe every couple months or whatever, fine. I don't care. Leave the kids alone. Leave people alone. Stop poisoning the youth. Stop poisoning our food and our water and our air. You know what I mean?
Well, now I got to stop you because here's where I go to the next level. We can't tell them what to do and not do. What we can do is get on the ground and have our own communities and our own resources and, opt out. Like you said, this ain't about if we want to compel them through our reason and our experience and on the ground embodiment to do and be better, we give them the opportunity by becoming the change. But we can't sit around and tell them, hey, B system matrix, just change what you've been and who and what you are and what you're here to teach us from the beginning of time. No, we learn our lessons through the demons. The dark force is our greatest teacher and tester and challenger to get right under God and live the right way. That doesn't require, after the teaching and testing and challenging is done, for them to change what they're doing. Other motherfuckers got to get awake and aware and active is the bottom line, right? If they don't change, if they change what they're doing, everyone's not going to get the lesson and the wake up call here. We got to thank them for what they're doing and then come out of her, my people. We got to leave Babylon for what it is and let people experience it for what it is. Doesn't mean we have to continue to live that way.
Right.
All right. And the other side of it is too, man, I'm not going to make excuses for myself. I'm just going to be all the way real, accountable or not. I listen to some of the music. There's times where I do warm-ups to the broadcast. I'll play King Von and all types of shit. It doesn't mean that I believe that we should lie, steal, kill, and destroy. But ultimately, I use it. I use it as an inspirational force. I use it to say, go ahead.
There's a rapper named Free Soul. He spells his name FR33SOL. There's another guy named Spiritual Tony. They come just as hard with the beats. They come just as hard with the lyrics, but it's all from the soul and it's all from coming out of Babylon. That's part of it. So I listen to it too, but I don't listen to the guys who promote destruction. I listen to the rappers who promote building up, but they still come as hard as these brothers that want to promote death and destruction. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole group, a community. Eshawn Burgundy, he's another rapper. He talks about coming out of Babylon. He got the hard beats. He's got everything, but he's not pushing, that. And what I'm saying is, I feel you, man. But it's like our youth, the young people, don't understand that. They don't understand. They don't have that mindset to be able to divide like you.
No, I get that. That. It can be influential. They can't draw the line, distinguish between entertainment and inspiration versus deviance and destruction. I get that.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying I wish we as a community or the guys who listen to a rap as a community would start pushing these brothers and sisters who, they still come with some hard beats, but they still promoting peace and they still promoting, hey, look at this system and look at where we at. Because all the guys I listen to, man, they teach that whole, thing. And it's in my playlist. You can look my name up. And I think you can look at my playlist. And I got like a gang of music, man, just all the way down. So if anybody interested, you can look at my playlist and check them out. But I appreciate you, man. I don't think you're crazy or stupid. I'm glad you allowed me up here, man. I'm glad these young brothers on here talking. And I appreciate guys like you, man. I do. And to the naysayers, hey, let them talk, man. But I appreciate your stance, and I'm in the process.
Oh, absolutely, man. We're kindred spirits. There's no denying
I'm in the process
it, right? That's
of trying to do that
today.
now, man. I want to get some land, and hell, if I just got some land in a tent, I'll figure it out. I done slept on the street. I done slept in homeless shelters before. You know what I mean? So if I can just give me a little piece of cheap land with some water nearby, that's what I want to do to opt out. If I got to just eat berries and if I got to eat dandelions, I'm ready to do that just so I can get away from supporting these demons, man. So
yeah, and they're gonna hit you with all the bozos on the block. Oh, look at him acting white, going to get himself land and owning land and being debt free and living off the land, right? Like imagine that. Turns out that's acting black. What you guys call black culture is American dysfunction given to folks to deceive black folks and all cultures and colors, colors of people, right? So acting black, truthfully, is we're back to the land movement, right? You go look at black folks in Africa or Jamaica, they're living in paradise. They're growing their own reefer. They're growing their own fruit. They're building their own dwellings. They're living debt free. They're communing with nature. They're not in a toxified environment. They're not in a toxified community. They're caring for themselves and each other. There's safety there. There's prosperity there on some level, right?
Yeah.
And of course, there's righteousness, right? You can't get safety and prosperity without righteousness. Go ask the folks from the last 4 years with their mind and heart control genocide program.
Yeah,
Doesn't
yeah,
seem
that's
like
what I'm
it
talking
works.
about. You know, righteousness, man. That's the thing. And then, again, that's why I talk about the music. You know, I like music that promotes righteousness because we've